On to the next subject? I think so. Here we go.
If you're a man, go ahead and book that 304. I'm telling you, because it's Friday night. Let me guess, you want some, right? You're going to go out to the club. You're going to go out to a bar. You're going to go out with your friends. One of your friends might strike out. You might not. But also, let's see how much you done spent, right? Let's say your Uber or parking, 20 to 40 bucks. Then, when you think about your drinks, you got to buy you a drink. 15 for the girl. She might want another one. Or let's say y'all put it on bottles or whatever, right? Whatever the case may be, you already came in. You're about 40 deep just from the car, right? The drinks, another 50 minimum, another 50. So that's $90 right there, right? Then you probably bought a new outfit, or maybe you're wearing the same thing, but let's go ahead and put $30 towards clothes, right? You might spill some wine on your white t-shirt that you wore out tonight. Now you've been drinking, you've been doing this. Now you're hungry, so now it's 20 bucks for wings. One of the shorties that you talking to in the club, she hungry too. So it's another 20 bucks for wings for her and her friend. Keep in mind, you're doing all these nice gestures. You don't know if you're gonna strike out tonight. You don't even know if you're gonna get her number. And if you do get her number, is she gonna text back? She might text back and then she falls asleep. Or she goes to another guy that she met at the club. Because chances are you're not the only guy that she talked to. So now you done spent another $25 on your Uber home. So now you're home, you're lit, now you wanna do something. But guess what? That girl's not answering, but a 304 whatever. But now you don't got no money because you spent it all in the club on a girl who's not even giving you no return on your investment. At least with the 304, all you had to do is put down about $400. You got you an hour right there. Or you can get you a low-end 304, 800 bucks. That's a whole night. And I say take the 304 route because if you go out to the bar or the club tonight, what are the chances that the girl that you meet is going to be on her own? And if she is on her own, she's probably a 304.
Ooh-wee. Say, go out and get you a 304, ladies. That's what the ladies just said. What y'all think about that?
I mean, I guess it really depends on what the guy is looking for. If he's going out just to find somebody to have sex with, then that might be the route for him. Because most females are not out there in the club looking like, okay, I'm about to go find me somebody to go home with tonight. That's not what's on our mind. So I guess it really just depends on what he's looking for. But that's crazy. $800 for a whole night.
I was about to say, is that the going rate? I had
You
no idea.
saying most females are not going out to try to figure out who
Somebody
they
to
can
take
go home with?
home.
Yeah, to go out to find somebody to take home and sleep with them that same night. At least not people I deal with.
Mm.
Unless they the 304s, and then they're going out to do their job.
I think she was selling herself. She would be a great businesswoman or accountant. She was keeping up with the numbers, how much they would invest. Like, why are you so invested when a man is spending on a woman unless
She
you're a
knows the price.
prostitute? I think she was a prostitute. That's what I'm getting at. Because why do you care what a man is losing, investing, bringing home as a woman, literally, unless you're on the receiving end? Why do you care?
Mm.
I don't think men should. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell y'all.
You don't think
If y'all
men
are
should
that
what?
desperate, book the prostitute. If y'all have some class about yourself and are not that desperate, you'll pull somebody because, you can attract it.
I'm not an advocate for prostitution, but let me just ask y'all some questions. Considering what she said, right? As far as like what it takes to date, and then also what men are looking for and that type of stuff. Do y'all think it's worth it for men to date?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
I
Why
feel
or
like
why
Men are
dating
not?
men
richer than ever and
is
having
not a
more
prostitute.
problems dating. It don't make sense to me.
Why
It feels
why
like
This
we
is
why
the
or why
richest
not?
humanity has ever been. Yet women are struggling, which I think because we just have the perception we have too many options. Men are struggling because they don't want to come to the terms with y'all have to compete with some women for resources. It just is what it is. But I mean, I don't know.
I feel like men are starting to be confused on who's a prostitute and who's not a prostitute. I
I
feel
don't
like a
think they
lot of
ever
women.
cared.
I feel like women that are claiming that they're not like that are like that, and the women who we clearly see are like that are like that. So personally,
Why do you,
I don't personally see the point of every man, and I'm not saying I'm repping for prostitutes, but if I'm looking at it from a male's perspective, I don't see what the difference would be for them. Like, what's the difference? Why do they need to date if they're just going to get a woman who carries herself like a prostitute anyway?
You know,
They
that's what I
marry
was saying the other
prostitutes,
show.
though. They marry them. Fatty literally just argued that point, how they marry them. Why do women,
And that would mean
men
all
are
women are
not that
prostitutes.
offended by prostitutes like women think. I promise to God. Get out y'all bubble. Y'all would probably be disappointed, but these men are, they don't, men are way more willing to settle than women.
They
I just
might.
think this is just another way to normalize prostitution, right? She's talking to the men, but I think she's really talking to the women. Like these men, I'm telling them to go to the prostitutes, go sleep with the 304s. It's easier that way. You get your return on investments. And I think she's telling women to be prostitutes so they can receive the benefits of prostitution. I think she's talking to both men and women. And I think she's definitely promoting that whole culture. She's promoting prostitution. She's telling girls, she's telling girls to go out and be prostitutes so they can receive the benefits. And then she's telling men to go be with those prostitutes. If it,
Girls
it's
are
just another
doing
way
that
to
though.
normalize it.
Like, they're doing that.
Where they're doing what?
They're being prostitutes. Like, women are being prostitutes. The average
Because
woman
men like
is going
it.
to be
Men like it. Men like it. Men like it.
I mean, that's
So
Women in
regardless of what
denial
I'm
of
saying.
men's
I'm
natures
saying that
don't like the fact that men like hoes and prostitutes. But
they
if
can
you're
like it, but
realistic
I'm
if
about
they
the fact that
human
women are
nature,
doing it.
human biology, men like the path to least resistance. What they don't like is y'all single women with no kids who they have to do the most to prove a point for. They like the path to least resistance. Males, the human male is the apex predator. They like the path to least resistance. Some men, I don't know what to tell y'all women. Like they marry hoes every day, all day. Some of these
that don't
women
mean
went to
we gotta be
college.
hoes. Like
Women
Some of
I
these
just I
women went to
can't
and hoes.
college, and you know what? They're
I
married.
can't.
And
We
you
don't
know
have to
what?
be
They get
hoes
their
because
10
men
years
want
in,
hoes.
they get their alimony, and this man knows everything. He even knows some of them kids might not be his. But you know what? Who has a problem with the hoes? The goody two shoes women who want to compete with the hoes instead of just be in your own lane. Don't worry about what the hoes is doing, and y'all won't even notice.
Oh my God. You don't have to be a hoe just because a man wants hoes. Like, I just really think we need
I
to
agree.
remove what
But
men
most women
want
care about
here.
what men want. I
I
agree
I
just
with you,
think
think the
we
Aaliyah. I
need
men
to
promise to God, I
are
remove
taking
agree.
that.
hoes because a lot of the women are hoes. So if
Think
your option is
Exactly.
hoe or no woman, I think that they'll go with hoe. I mean, what's the other option here? They
Okay, then.
we
So they don't.
what do you mean okay then?
They will take a hoe over being single. A woman will be single over being a hoe or do whatever she has to do
Mm-mm.
to get married. I mean, I just men care about self-preservation more than the women who are focused on hoes.
You just
Why are
said
women
that the
focused
women
on, but I don't understand why women care about what the hoes is doing and who the hoes are getting, to be honest with you.
well, you
Y'all
just
competing
said
with
that
y'all man
women
for
are man
a
centric.
woman is trying to take your man, most likely.
wait.
Most likely. You might look at her as a hoe, whatever, whatever. That don't mean that the man is turning her down. That's my point. Y'all can sit here and say, oh, hoes are bad. That don't mean men is gonna turn them down. If they say this is the oldest profession, that mean they ain't been turning them down since the dawn of ages.
Just because he's having sex with a woman does not mean that he wants to be with her. And some women actually want to be kept. And
And
so
they
she's
make the
going to be
women that's
needing to
getting
look for a
chosen.
dude. But some of them are. A lot of them are. Like, if you ask a man what he's looking for, he's not going to say he's looking for a hoe unless it's for the night. And
And then
so
you're gonna
if
be
you're
looking
a
like Derek
woman
Jackson
that
wife,
has nothing to
wondering
do
what the
tonight,
hoes
then
got over
okay.
her. So
You
you
said
either
she's
gonna
looking.
focus on what the hoes is doing and who they're getting, or you just gonna be you and worried about you. And I don't know why women care so bad. It's not gonna stop men from. This woman is really promoting men to go be with hoes. And there are
because
going to be
she
some men who say that makes sense.
because she is a hoe. I went to her page. So
I think she is too. I think she
what I
was
see on her
promoting
page is
herself. I
where
think
to
she would be a
find wealthy
great
men,
accountant.
gold digger advice, how to actually find a wealthy husband, and that's all she's talking about is getting money. Where
Because she's
304s
competing with the
actually
9 hoes
find
who ain't going to
tricks,
get it.
It's a lot of
where
them
to find
pages
the
going
trick before
around
the
too.
summer's over. This is what she does, and this is why
And
she's saying what she's saying. But to her point, if you're a man and you don't want to deal with all of this, yeah, it's gonna be easier to go get a hoe. If
men
that's
like the
what you're
path
looking
to
for,
least
go for
resistance,
it.
but women still want to be oblivious to that for whatever reason. She's she's saying what these men how they would rather move. I don't know.
If they would rather move like that, why would she have to tell them to move like that?
Because she's
Like,
selling
I just,
herself.
And I was just about to say that, Aaliyah. If they would rather move like that, then they've got plenty of options, and they wouldn't be talking about how Western women are acting and how they need passports to go and find worthy women. If they
this is
wanted a hoe, they're everywhere. So why would they be talking about being passport bros if all they wanted was the hoe sitting
from
out
Because
the
they
the
can
street?
afford more hoes, y'all. They're not going to be passport bros to
what?
be good husbands. They're finding prostitutes or children. Let's be honest with what they're doing
Huh?
with their passport.
Wait, wait,
Prostitutes.
They're not just getting married in droves because they have a passport. When has that ever happened? Men have been having the ability to go overseas since like World War I.
What does
These
that have to
men
do
get
with
up here
anything?
every day and say they like hoes, but women will sit there and convince themselves men don't like it.
Men like
I mean,
sex. They gonna get it from wherever they can get it from.
And
Yeah.
who's the easiest to get it from? It ain't gonna be the girl who's trying to be wifed and let me hold my virginity.
But that doesn't mean
They'll
that that's
play
the
that
one that they
game, but
trying
that
to
ain't
take
who they're
care
gonna be
of.
sleeping with on the side. Mhm.
That's not the one that they trying to take care of. That's not the one that they want to have their children with. And there are women who want to be taken care of. There are women who want to
They
be
don't
protected. There are women who want to have children, and being
they
a
don't
hoe ain't
want to
gonna
have
get you
children
there.
with their wives. Half the time they're not physically attracted to their wives. They're just with
She's
her because
talking
she can
about what
cook.
women want. Women want to be taken care of and want to, they
I
don't want
can't
to just
tell.
be
I think
slept
women want to take
with.
care of men.
You said women want to take care of men?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
If that was the
So
case, then there's a plethora of men to choose from to take care of. But women are always doing story times about how there's no good men out here and men want princess treatments and all of that.
they
So
say
no, that's
broke
not what
niggas
they
don't
want.
deserve no pussy. Wait, I'm confused.
The men just argued that the broke man is getting the most cooter cat. So
what was you about to
why
say,
y'all trying to
Brittany?
fight the hoes? I don't know.
Hmm?
Brittany, what was you about to say?
I don't even remember.
I asked in the very beginning, and I said, "Do y'all think that men prefer, is dating worth it?"
No.
Well, I said no.
And I'm asking you why.
Yeah, I already told you. I said I felt like men don't know how to differentiate who's a hoe and who's not a hoe. So them dating, it's kind of like they're not that interested in dating anymore. They are interested in getting something more quicker, easier. They're not. I don't feel like guys are really that pressed. Women are requiring a lot more than they ever have. Some of the most basic looking women are requiring things that the more attractive women. I don't think men really are that pressed anymore. To like, I think they're more so focusing on themselves. I don't see guys beating down the door to try to go take a girl on a date anymore. So
So
I
the
think
date isn't worth it. Are you saying a date isn't worth it because of the additional requirements from the women?
because of the women in general, like I think the quality of women is not what men would prefer. From what I hear men say, that's the complaint that men are having. And it can be a plethora of things. It can be, yes, they're requiring more than they deserve, or they're not really talking about nothing. Like there's plenty of reasons, but I think that men are just like, or a lot of women that are claiming that they're not whores are whores. And men can see that. The way women carry themselves on social media, all they got to do is pull up an Instagram. Okay, she's good for the night, or oh, she's good to have fun with, but am I going to date her? No. Am I going to take her serious? No. Do I really care to take her on a date if I don't have to? Women are giving it up easy. They don't even, some women aren't even requiring dates. So men can't really differentiate. Are you worth a date? Or are you not worth a date?
Well, let me
I
ask
think
y'all a
they
question.
can
Let
though.
me ask y'all a question. What's the purpose of dating in y'all mind, each individually?
They
Like,
get
what's the
married.
purpose of a date?
And to go out to get to know someone and see if we can connect and click and move things forward. Not
Would
just
y'all
to
ever be able to? Would y'all? Dang, I got an echo somewhere. Is that
I
me?
know. I didn't know if it was me.
I don't know. It might be me. Hold on, let me see something. Testing. Do y'all do y'all think that y'all would be able to get with a guy and get into a relationship without necessarily going on a date with him?
A relationship? So like
I
how
think
are we
women
supposed
are
to know each
desperate
other?
enough to do it. Yes.
I think it can happen. Mm-hmm.
So y'all think that y'all are able to get into a relationship with a guy to vet through whether you want to be with him, whether he's a decent person to rock out with without necessarily going on a date?
I think
I
people
think they're
are
desperate
their
enough.
true selves on dates anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say
So
that.
you can't really gauge who a person is even after a few dates. So
people don't start
Women
showing
don't
their
even
true
ask men
colors
their
after a
sexual
year.
status,
Well,
so they just
the reason that I ask this is because I think that everybody got a different definition of what dating means. Like, some people say it's to get to know people, other people are saying, that you don't really need it. And I don't even think that we all on the same page about what a date is. I think that men understand that they got to spend money on it, but I don't think that everybody is on the same page on what a date is, which makes it difficult to have this conversation because one person is saying one thing based off of how they see it, then another person is saying a completely different thing, and then we trying to compare it against buying pussy.
Some women think a date is just to get a free meal. So
That's what I'm trying to understand from y'all. What is
is that
dating?
a date though?
What is
Or
dating
is that just
supposed to
getting a
mean?
free
the man
meal?
is looking at it like because he's paying for it. I
What
don't
is
think
dating
he wants
supposed
to
to mean, and what does it translate into? Is what I'm trying to understand.
A date is just it's a planned social activity amongst two people, whether you have to pay for it or not. It's just a planned activity for y'all to get to know each other. That's just the basic definition of it.
or fill each other out. Yeah.
So when people are in a relationship, why do they have date night?
Because they like to get dressed and go spend money.
Keep things
To keep it
fresh.
fresh.
Remind each other why they like each other.
You got an echo, I think, Miss H has.
I don't know what it could be.
So why do they do date night?
To keep
Because it's
the
fun.
intimacy. Yeah, just to keep the relationship thriving. I
So for
guess.
sex,
Well, I think they're gonna do that anyway. But I do think that,
are they?
well, yeah. If they're in a relationship, yeah.
It's a lot of people
I
that's in
think that
sexless marriages and relationships.
I think more in sexless marriages than sexless relationships. But
I figured it out. The dating is for women.
well, yeah.
The dating is only beneficial to the woman, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say so is
So,
marriage.
so if the dating is only beneficial for women, because let's break it down from a relationship perspective, right? Y'all married or y'all in this long-term relationship, but y'all got to have date night. Now, what I hear from a lot of women on the internet is that they don't be wanting to, or even women that are complaining about other women that are in relationships. A lot of times they'll say stuff like, it's an argument about whether or not women should just give it up when men want it versus a woman that has to basically be convinced and finessed and wooed and swooned into the bedroom, right? So if that be the case, then that means that date night, if men will fuck regardless, then that means that date night is basically to keep the woman happy and to get her in the mood.
Yeah. Basically.
Okay.
I mean,
So
like you said, the women have to, once they're in a relationship, generally speaking, in that initial attraction and curiosity and all that wears off, it's like, okay, now I need to be mentally into this. She needs to feel like you care, like you are making an effort, like she's attractive. Like all these things go together and they affect a woman's sex drive. Men, they don't care. They're just like,
So
whatever.
we have to go out and spend money on you and take you out to make you feel good about having sex with you.
That depends on what you
The
define
women
a
who
date.
don't want to compete with the hoes,
No. That's
yes.
what y'all telling me. That's basically what y'all
Yes.
telling me. Y'all telling me that even if you in a relationship, because then that goes against the idea that I'm dating you to get to know you so that I can get in a relationship with you. Because if we already in a relationship and I still have to date you in order to fuck you, then that defeats the whole purpose of dating you to get to know you. If I already know you, then that means that I'm just spending money on you so you can feel good about taking your clothes off, right?
Yeah, but that depends on who you're with, right? Because some women don't require all that. They don't require you to spend all this money. It could be like Aaliyah said, it's just a planned outing, a planned activity. Y'all can plan to go to the park. You can plan a date night at home. It's just about the intention. It's about the intention and the attention for the women.
Well, it's not just the intention, because if we don't do it, then you're not gonna feel nothing towards it, right? Like we actually got to do that,
Gotta
right?
do what? That's
Go on a
intention,
date.
though. Being intentional about this woman, being intentional about setting aside your time to say you are important enough for me to set aside some time for you.
Even if
Most
we
men
in a
don't see women
relationship.
as that important.
Even if we in a relationship.
Yeah.
So basically, what y'all telling me, and give me a little bit of rope. And again, I'm not an advocate for prostitution. Is that if a guy has to set aside time and spend money on you, even if he's already in a relationship with you, then why shouldn't he just spend money directly towards the woman and just get some box?
That's what I was saying.
If
I'm
you're
not saying that he
if y'all are
shouldn't. If
y'all
that's
are
your goal,
telling me,
that's what you need to do. It's gonna
if
be the
y'all are
path of
telling
least
me,
resistance.
if y'all are telling me that
Path to least
no
resistance.
matter what your situation is, married, unmarried, relationship, not relationship, meet you for the first time, whatever, taking a chance on spending money on you to eventually lead to getting some box. Y'all are telling me through different answers, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's just easier to go and pay her and then get some box.
Yes,
course
it's
it's
easier to
easier.
go pay. Yeah, yes, that's easier.
I've been saying this.
But
Women
also, I
want to put
think
up a fight
one
about
date
it
goes a
though.
long way.
Men want the path to least resistance. Women want to feel special. Play along.
Something wrong with
Both
that.
genders just play along. I don't know.
But we want the illusion that we're not paying you for sex,
Yeah,
even though
I
we
know.
have to spend money on you for sex, even if we're in a relationship with you.
But I don't think it's about spending the money. Like I said, it's about the intention and the attention. You can come up with some free stuff to do. And I think by and large, that would work unless you with the type of chick who was there for your money in the first place.
But aren't
I think
all
they
women
like
to an
that.
extent there for your money in the first place? Because if you don't have no
Not
money, then you're not
necessarily.
gonna get no box. Then you're not necessarily gonna be in a relationship.
Not necessarily. We talk about how women are with pookies all day. You just said that these
No,
men
no, no.
who standing on the street and getting loosies have all these babies. So they don't want to lose.
I'm not talking about that demographic of people. I'm talking about regular middle class people or people that have resources to go on dates, right? You still gotta have money to go on a date. Still gotta have money to do shit, right? So for those type of people that have resources, do we still have to spend money? Is what I'm saying. If I got it, do I still have to spend it?
Again,
No.
I don't think so.
No. If you have it, you don't have to spend it.
Then that mean I don't have to go on a date.
You don't.
So why do people
You
have
don't
date
have to
night?
spend money to date.
That like
Again,
that's
What date do y'all know that people are not spending money on date night to go out on?
you can
you
go
can
to
set up a
parks.
Motorcycle
Go ahead.
ride through the streets of your local city. I've done it. I mean, no money spent. Gas money.
Are y'all crazy?
I'm just saying. You don't have
Almost every date especially on date night, at the very least be at dinner, have dinner.
See, but I'm
Almost
not
every date at some point goes to a restaurant at the very minimum.
it depends on who you're dating. Because to me, that's real basic. And you ain't gonna do nothing for me to be talking about let's go eat. I can eat at home. And I would rather eat at home. I don't have to wait on it, and I know my food gonna be good.
So you telling me that if every date that you go on with this nigga, that is some cheap shit, and he's intentionally making sure that he don't spend no money, that you're not gonna pay attention to that and feel some type of way about it?
If he's intentionally trying to make it seem like he's not spending money, then yes, I'm gonna pay attention to that. If he is being intentional about doing things that he think I might like, that's different.
I think most women are going to care about that. I think most women are going to be like, why is he not taking me to dinner? Why is he not? And then they're going to start complaining about it. Then they're going to start comparing to the women you dated before. And, oh, you used to do this with her. If we're being honest, I think that most women are going to care about that. Most men are spending money on a date. You can, especially if you're dating someone like consistently, you might have certain nights where something is free. But for the most part, you're going to dinner, you're probably going to a show, you're doing something. So in 9 out of 10 times, he's paying for it. So it starts to make me wonder, like, so is all women hoes? Like, whether you're married, whether you're not? Because if a man is paying money on you,
Why does that make you a hoe? Because he's spending money. I don't understand
I'm
that.
just
Like, I don't
saying.
understand
Because
the
y'all are
logic of that.
equating spending money to having sex.
Y'all don't, as women, we can't be so gullible to think that because he's saving money by going out with you, not y'all, but with a cheap woman, that he's not going to spend that money that he's saving on a woman that he finds is more worth it. Are we really going to be this oblivious? I'm telling y'all now, these men are going to spend money on what and who they want, regardless if you're going to be this silly woman that's going to help him save his money on a date. He's going to take that money that he saved on his date and be with the woman and spend it on the woman who has higher expectations because he wants to impress her. Y'all have to. They say don't hold women accountable. Women just nobody wants to hear me. Y'all are helping these men save their money on some other woman that's gonna benefit.
Yeah, I don't think.
Wake up. Y'all have to get the brainwashing off and wake up. You're not getting any brownie
is the
points for these men by
brainwash.
helping them save on a date because I'll take $30. Yes, and you know who's gonna demand more and gonna get it?
The
The
hoe.
woman who have the expectation. If you want to see her as a hoe, but if that's where he's gonna save his money from you and spend it on her, say what y'all want. It sounds like the hoes is winning.
My
Keep trying
suggestion
to
to the
I
tell
just
women
guy,
feel
these
like y'all
men
are
is gonna spend their
equating
money on
spending
who and
money
what they want. If you're gonna help
for
them save their money,
sex.
by
You're
all
equating
means, help them.
spending
I'm not the
money
type of woman
on
that's gonna help them
sex
save no
to
money.
spending money in your
Not
relationship.
for another woman.
Those
my
two things are not the same. They're not
my suggestion
mutually
to
exclusive.
guys
If
is
you're spending money directly to have sex, that's one thing.
You
But
don't
if
think
you're
men
in
are
a
doing that?
relationship
You
and
think
you're
men are spending money for what? Why do men spend money on women? Why? In general, why? That they're not
you
related
just said
to.
it's to impress her, no?
Impress her why?
So
Impress her because it's her? Because she's not that special. She's just a vagina. Impress her why?
so if they're spending the money to have sex, that makes her a hoe. That makes her the prostitute.
No, they're doing what they have to do to get what they want. Y'all have to stop making it about hoes and prostitution. I don't even think some men are thinking about it that far. They're making certain investments or they're doing what they have to do because they want a certain result. The woman is either going to give them that result or she's not, and they have to move accordingly. But we can't say women are hoes because men are willing to men make money to spend it on women. What else is they spending it on?
If
I
you are intentionally the person, right? If I'm the person that the man is giving the money to have sex, to directly have sex, that is prostitution. But if a man is investing in his relationship and part of that investment, part of that return on investment is he's intimate with his woman, that's two different things. That's two different things. So the woman, just because he's spending the money, just because his intention is to get boxed, doesn't inherently make that woman a hoe. Doesn't make her the prostitute. We don't
That's what
have
I'm
to be.
saying.
We don't have to be we don't have to be prostitutes just because that's their intention.
So you're not a prostitute. A man can spend money on you, but you're not a prostitute. What?
Yes, because
Like,
I'm
so what makes you any
yes
different than a prostitute that he's spending money on? If a
because
man is spending money on a
she's
woman
directly
and he's
getting
getting
money
access
for
to
putting
sex
out. She's directly getting money for putting her body out. So she has to lay down to take that. I
versus
don't have to lay down to take that. That's the difference.
at
I don't have
some
to lay
point you
down
didn't
to
have
get
to lay
that.
down and get his money though, just because you're his girlfriend.
Just because he's spending money on me to obtain box doesn't mean I am messing with him for him to spend money so I can sleep with him. Like
If he's spending money on one woman, what makes her different from the next woman he's spending money on? I personally don't understand. I think women think
her
they're more special than what they are.
Hmm.
I think women think they're more special than what they are. Because he made a little bit more effort to spend a little bit more money on you, don't mean that, I mean, it doesn't.
It does that little bit extra effort. That's the
You
difference between the
being
two.
called a girlfriend,
That little extra effort makes the
is it the
difference
title?
between the two.
No, she don't have a for
That's what I'm
sale
saying.
sign
That
on her
little extra
pussy.
effort that you saying, like you disregarding, you throwing off on the back,
She
that
don't have a
actually
for
sets the
sale
two apart.
sign.
Yeah,
But
she's
some
not
men think
selling
that
it,
women, regardless of
but
the
that's not
fact,
her intention.
she'll go to the highest
Mimi,
bidder.
I can't hear you, Mimi.
Well,
Can
I
y'all
don't
hear me?
understand why women just think they're
Yeah,
so
I
different
can
and
hear you.
special.
Oh, I can't hear you, Mimi. I'm my fault. But it's not
You're
about
more special
women
because
thinking that they're
you didn't
special.
give
You
it
just
up
don't have to.
after.
It's not about being special. We're just two different women. Like
Mm,
your intention is to receive
mm.
money because you're putting out. Like that's literally your intention. Your intention is matching up with your result. Like I just
So he would do something for his girlfriend that's not giving him sex, but men
his
literally sit up here
intention
and
doesn't
complain
matter
about
with what I
sexless
got going on.
relationships and
Our
marriages.
two intentions
What
are two
is
different
the
things. Is the point.
difference? Huh? I'm
We have
sorry.
two different intentions. That's the difference.
What's the intentions that's different? You both want a result from a man that results in him
One
somehow
wants
spending money.
money. One just wants money. The other one wants time, attention. If you want to also include wants resources as well. Like it's more that she wants from the man.
That's worse in these men's brains. Do you understand that? You want more
I'm
than
not
what some
worrying
of them
about
are
what's in these men's
capable of.
brains. That's the
That's
part that you're not
I
understanding.
know you're
Like
not.
what's in the man's brain doesn't matter right now. We're talking about women. We're talking about
And
women. I
I
don't.
understand, and I know you're thinking like I understand. I get it. You think there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Even if there's only a difference for the woman, right?
I
So a
can't hear
I
prostitute
nobody
don't
has
see what
else.
the
absolute.
difference is.
If a woman is a prostitute, she has absolutely no connection with this man. She doesn't care about him. There's no like the sex does nothing
We
for
don't
her.
know that though.
How is she? How is she?
A
How could she
girlfriend don't necessarily
possibly?
have a connection with her man just because she's the girlfriend.
She should.
Some of
So
these
if
men be in
we,
love with they hoes and the wife just be there because she can cook and clean.
but that doesn't mean he's not in love with her too. Just because I don't
Mm.
feel like you can only love one person for one, but for two, I think he can also just be having sex with this chick on the side and not love her. That's a thing. So if this woman wants more for herself than just to flat back it and get through life, and she wants some sort of connection, which most women do, you're not gonna be able to get it as a prostitute.
Did I miss anything else?
That's
I caught the end of what you
crazy.
said.
That
Can
was
you hear me now?
that was it
Yeah, I can hear
generally.
you now. What you
I
say?
think that the fact that women don't, even married women don't think that men can kind of still look at even being married as prostitution to an extent is crazy.
So is
Just
there
because he
no
don't
such
call
thing
you
to
a
you as like
prostitute
a
and y'all are in a
symbiotic
relationship
relationship?
don't mean he don't see it sort of as he has to pay for you to be there.
It
Most
But
don't
men
basically
have
matter
an
what you're
how he
saying,
understanding that
sees
they have to
it.
pay for their women to
How
stay
he
around.
sees it doesn't mean it's what it is. How he see how his
In a
perceived
man's world, that's
perception.
what it is, though. It's not what you think it is.
he can think it is what it is. I don't understand what he thinks it is. Does not matter. I don't understand why what he thinks matters. Like I don't understand why that is just what it is. Just because he
I don't
thinks it.
understand why women don't think hoes are the path to least resistance, and
Nobody's
men don't
saying that
want to
they're
sit there
not.
and get deep with y'all. They don't want to sit there and do all
Nobody's
these.
saying that they're
I gotta
not.
do these deep dives and be all in her emotions and this. They don't. They. I promise to God, they don't really care. They do that just to make women happy.
So your suggestion is all women become hoes because it's easier for the man.
I think women need to understand males' natures and think that if you don't think he's looking at you as a prostitute just because y'all in a relationship, or he don't look at you like he's spending some type of money on you, or y'all can keep helping these men save their money and they're gonna put it towards another woman. Y'all not doing these men no favors by thinking that they don't see y'all like they see every other woman.
It's not a favor for them. That's the point. It's not about them. It's not
Listen, I
about
say
them.
this every day, but they say I hate men. Okay.
Well, I'm ready to move to the next subject after super chats, unless y'all have anything else to say about this subject.
I think that
You
I
guys
don't
need
know.
Women
to
gonna constantly think they're different.
these are the views of women. And I think that guys need to take a completely different approach and just focus more on themselves. I don't think that they need to be as focused on women as they are. Because you'll start making sacrifices in order to get what you think you want, but you need to change what you want. And that way you start to find out whether or not a woman can be valuable to you beyond her box. Because if you only looking at a woman for box, you're gonna miss out on so much other shit that you can use her for, that you can put her to work for, that you can get value from her for. And the first step to getting to that point is you gotta become disinterested in that being the only thing that come along with it. If you're not focused on you and your own self-discipline, then you'll start being able to be easily manipulated by a woman that's looking to get resources out of you, because you'll do what you got to do just to fuck. And so a woman has to, for certain guys, she got to be more valuable than just a box. Box is low-hanging fruit for most niggas that know what life is really about. Box is easy. And so if you're not able to develop some sort of discipline in your life to where it's got to be more than just a box on why you spending your time, resources, and energy around her, then you're wasting your time. And so, but the flip side of that is it's always gonna be a nigga for them to be able to get some money out of. It's always gonna be a dude. Cause you're never gonna convince everybody to see it one way. It's always gonna be both. You're gonna have Democrats, Republicans. You're gonna have Johns and you're gonna have pimps. You're gonna have, conservatives, liberals. You're gonna have black and white. And so you can't convince everybody. And I'm not trying to convince everybody. But for those that that's looking to get the insight, hear it. And so it's more, life is more than just box. I'm not saying don't take the box too, but what I am saying is you got to get to the point to where it's got to be worth more than just the box for you to spend your time. That means that you got to increase the value of who you are. You increase the value of who you are, then that means that the people that qualify to be in your circle gonna have to be more valuable than just the box. Because unfortunately and fortunately, most women think that they got firebox. And if it ain't fire, then must be something wrong with you, nigga. That's what they think in their mind. If my box ain't fire, it must be something wrong with you. So most women think that they got firebox. They all think that they're going to put it on you. Now, they don't know what the other chick then did, so they don't really know what putting it on you look like to that nigga, because what he think is fire might be different than what she got or what she thinks she is, right? But the point that I'm making is that when you get to a certain level of maturity, then it got to be more than just the box. It's got to be, I got to be able to put you in a certain space for you to do something productive for me. I got to be able to put you in a position for you to bring back some money. I got to be able to put you in a position where you can bring me some business. I got to be able to put you in a position, or you got to be else. You also got to be a great mother, right? Or you got to be more than just your circumstances of opening your legs. If the only fucking value now, and again, this may work on a nigga that's smitten and that's so obsessed with that. But if the only fucking thing that you can give me is box, we can get that.
That's what I was
We can get
saying.
that. We can get that. But no. I'm speaking about it from the guy's perspective, right?
No, I know.
And I don't disagree with you, but most guys don't see it that way. Most guys will pay a pretty penny so that they can have post-nut clarity and regret their decision in the morning.
And all I was doing, I was speaking from the woman's perspective, because you don't have to be, like you said, if the box is low-hanging fruit, you don't have to be that. You don't have to be the low-hanging fruit on the tree. As a woman, you don't have to be the one that's just gonna put out for the bag. You don't have to be that. And just because that might be the perception, or that might be your perception of what's going on, doesn't mean you have to submit to that perception of reality. And that's all I was getting at.
I think y'all
You don't
both
have to
got
be
points.
a hoe, because
y'all
there are
both
men
right.
willing to pay for hoes. There's always going to be a man willing to pay for a hoe.
I think y'all both right. I think that, I think that there's a group of guys that want the illusion that they're not actually paying for companionship. And then there's also a group of guys that want to skip through the bullshit and just be like, all right, cool, skip it. I'll just go ahead and spend the money.
Can you repeat it one more time? I missed it.
I think there's a group of guys that want to know that you're there for the right reasons. But then a lot of those guys get surprised when they run out of money or when they go through something that the chick leave them.
But you don't think that could be the same dude, like just depending on the day? Because don't nobody feel like doing all of this every day. Like maybe Tuesday, I want the easy route. You don't think that's a thing?
What do you mean?
You're saying that, there's a guy who wants the easy route. There's the guy who wants, let's say, the relationship, right? I feel like the relationship guy can also be the guy who's like, I just want this easy. And that's why side chicks exist.
What do you mean? The relationship guy could be the guy
who just wants the path of least resistance. He just wants a hoe, whether it be for the night, for 2 nights, whatever. He doesn't always feel like I need to spend some money. I need to be washing dishes and doing all this stuff around the house. Like he wants some easy stuff too.
Yeah, that's true too. Everybody want different things at different times. Sometimes a woman want to be made love to, and sometimes she want to be treated like a hoe. Sometimes a dude feel like doing something nice for a woman. The thing that women don't understand about guys is that guys don't want to be treated like a John. The difference between a hoe on the street and a chick that's a high-end prostitute is the high-end prostitute is selling companionship, and the hoe on the street is selling head. It's 2 different packages.
It's a girlfriend experience.
No. You're missing it.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Both of them is giving up box. One of them is a Chevy, right? One of them is a Chevy SS with the Corvette engine in it, and another one is the Corvette. But it's got different packaging. Both of them got 0 to 60 times going the same speed. One of them is an Audi, RS, and another one is the Lambo. They both got the same engine in it, and they both made by Volkswagen, right? One of them is a Cadillac, and the other one is a Yukon.
Which one you want to be?
One of them is a Navigator, and the other one is an Expedition. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the packaging might be different. And what we're basically seeing is some men are saying, listen, Fuck the packaging. Let's just get straight to it. I want the engine. And then other people are saying, listen, I want the leather seats. I want the heated and cooled cup holders. And I want the badging. And so companionship looks different for different people depending on how they interpret what it looks like. And some people saying, listen, I don't want to pay for all that. Nigga, just give me a camera to get to and from where I got to go. Because I don't value cars the same way that these niggas value cars. You know what I'm saying? And so some people don't value all of that. They just want something to get them to and from where they got to go. And they good. And then other niggas want they want a fully loaded vehicle. And that's the difference.
So this was Patreon advice.
The prostitute is selling box. The high-end escort is selling companionship. And the wife is selling all of it. But you may not necessarily get what you thought that you was getting with the wife because she's selling motherhood. She's selling, I'm going to be nice to your parents. She's selling, I'm going to cook for you on Sundays. She's selling, I'm going to be there for you when you're down and out. And so the expectation is that for you to provide for it, and that's going to cost you a lot more, right? All right, here's a better analogy. Fuck
It's
the cars.
quality over quality.
Fuck the cars. Some women are a good hotel.
It's the
Other
quality.
women are Airbnb. Some people are leasing, and then some people buy the home. And that's the different types of women that you're gonna deal with. And then it's a different type of quality of hotel that you get into, and it can cost a different amount depending on what night you stand, how busy it is, and the quality of the hotel itself. That's a better analogy for you. Now, the person that get married ultimately is the person that buys the house, right? And they looking to create a home out of that motherfucker. So they looking to build something with that person, and they're going to be there for them, and they're going to update it, and they're going to change the floors, and they're going to do all of that stuff, right? And then other people, they got a rental, right? They're going to be leasing, and they may lease and they may stay in the same place for a long time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they ever committed to buying a house. So what they do is the leasing is a long-term relationship. All right. And then there's some other people that say, you know what? I want the Ritz-Carlton. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Maybe we go to the Hamptons or whatever. And that's the higher end woman that sells you on the idea that she's not a prostitute. She's a person that wants to be compensated for her companionship. And then you got the chick that's the mosey wosey. You know what I'm saying? You're not staying at the Wynn when you go to Vegas. You're going to stay at the Motel 8, and they may even give you hourly rates. And that's the chick that's on the streets. And that's the difference between a different woman, in my opinion, as far as what companionship looks like to men.
Okay, so Patreon level advice. You can only choose one, date or book the hoe. What do you tell the men to do?
What do you mean date or book the hoe? I don't believe in prostitution. I'm never gonna tell a nigga to go and go. I don't like mosey wosies. I don't stay at the Days Inn. I'm not interested in that shit. So I would never tell you to go and stay at the Days Inn because that shit may be roach infested. It may have more. It was a higher likelihood of bed bugs, and you could get robbed in that motherfucker. And it's usually on the bad part of town. So you're never going to get me to advocate for prostitution. And nigga, you may catch a case. Pulling up on a hoe, booking her from Backpage. They still got Backpage? Booking a chick from Backpage. Nigga, that may be a fed. You may be in trouble.
I don't know, but if we looking at that girl who stops people mid-stroke, you can get a case in a relationship.
That's true. But then again, there's people that own a home and then they take a lot of trips. It's another side to that.
I don't know. I don't know, because you can end up house poor real quick.
That mean that mean you married the wrong chick. That's too much for you than what you really thought you was getting yourself into. That means that's why I say you gotta rock with people that rock with you. Get you a cool $300,000-$400,000 house, paid off, low property taxes, and you enjoy that bitch.
You say paid off like people got $400,000 just laying around. Most people
You
don't
missing
have
that.
that.
You see, you getting into the other stuff. It's an analogy.
I understand that, but I'm
You
just saying
get
you make it seem
something
like
that's
that's easy.
affordable.
It's not necessarily easy.
It's an analogy.
I get that, but in the same vein of that analogy, how many men are saying there are no good women out here? All the women are modern prostitutes. So I mean, it's not easy. So in that
There's
same
a lot
vein,
of people that say that it ain't. It's a lot of people that say homes ain't affordable anymore either. That's because they don't want to move to the region that's actually affordable for them. They want to stay in fucking New York. You can find an affordable home. You just don't want one. You don't want to go to the place where homes are affordable. That's the difference. It's the truth.
I guess.
Oh, so you got no rebuttal for that one.
You know, you can always compromise your standards. You can always move to Podunk if that's where you want to be. There's always going to be somewhere, some shanty town where you can live.
Now it's a
and
shanty
have a
town.
home if that's what you want. It might be.
Now it's a shanty town.
It might be.
Interesting. Or you can keep on trying to be house poor with these bitches that don't want you, that you can't afford to be around, and that's gonna take you to the cleaners if you start to run out of money. You can be with the chick that's gonna end up as a foreclosure if you want to, because guess what? They sell her to the next highest bidder. Foreclosures don't stay on the market for long. They go to the next highest bidder. So you ain't looking at it from the woman's perspective. You only looking at it from the man's perspective. From the woman's perspective, there's a lot of abandoned houses out here. It's a lot of fixer-uppers.
I agree. But we talking about dating or booking a hoe. Like, we're not talking about it from a woman's perspective.
Right. Anything else? Anyone else have anything to say about that subject? AD?
No, great conversation. What up, Slim?
It is.
How was skating, big dog?
Exhausted, but it was cool.
I love that shirt though.
Yeah, The Simpsons. It's classic.
I love that shirt. That's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Started on the Tracy Ullman show. It used to be a short.
Yeah,
I remember that. The first episode was about them taking a family portrait. The squiggly lines.
Yeah. All right. Well, go ahead and do the super chat so we can move to the next subject. Let's see. Striking It Rich sent $1.99, says anyone who gives AD actual pushback is removed. That's not true. Real Paradox 85 sent $2, said, Brittany, I knew you was smart. Humanoids Are Better sent $2, said WNBA night. Aggressive Biscuit sent $2, said Kim, don't go hard on Molly. AD will kick you out. Modern Talk 25 sent $1.99. Molly, you gotta let Brittany talk.
I think people are situationally aware enough to understand that nobody has ever gotten kicked off of this platform, including tonight. Nobody's gotten kicked off.
Unknown God 333 sent $100. Thank you so much. He said, AD, hold the W. I appreciate the level of grace and self-control the Lord continues to develop within you, my brother. Stay encouraged. Continue to evolve and pursue the fruits of the Spirit. I appreciate how you handled the situation.
I appreciate you, bro, for the 100 ball. Thank you for holding us down. Thank you to everybody that contribute to the platform.
Thank you so much. KLA, the Wanderer, sent $10, said, beware of the dating apps, local singles, and Rushly. There are a lot of predatory 304s. You have to purchase pics and videos for you to meet someone. A lot about it. Wow.
That's what y'all get.
How do you know so much? Team Patty sent $5, said, Anton told me not to make it men versus women, just to make dating a men versus women right now. LOL.
I don't think that anybody did any personal insults, and everybody just had a passionate conversation. I don't think nobody feeling no type of way. Listen, Fatty. I appreciate you. I just think that we are in two different spaces as far as what we're trying to do from a content perspective. But I appreciate you. I don't have anything bad to say about you at all.
Will 86 sent $1.99, said all women are monetized. Ramsey sent $6.99, said once Fatty mentioned the height, he was out of here. Nah, that was it. Kim One sent $5, said, did any of you see the EPD 445 documentary trailer? Look it up on YouTube. I actually just did when I saw that. Aggressive Biscuits sent $2, said Molly only has a brainstem in that dome. What?
Don't worry about what I got.
Mr. Travolta 24 sent $5, said spend $200 for dinner to get box or spend $200 directly on box. It's the same thing. Women are delusional and think it's different. It's the same thing.
Thank you.
It's true.
One's for sale, one is not.
It's the same for the men. It's not the same for the women.
I get it.
They don't care about what women think, though.
But we shouldn't care about what they think in determining whether or not you're going to be a hoe or not.
I'll be saying that, but I hate men when I say that.
Callie Mike sent $4.99, says, so are we promoting that if married and people are okay? So are we promoting that if married and people dating are out here tricking because money is being spent is diabolical? The Genius CEO sent $2, said, shit, let another April baby up there, LOL. JL Prime 10 sent $1.99. I agree with Molly. This is facts. Connor White Wolf sent $1.99. Bro, Anton, you're simping, bro. Straight simping. Team Fatty sent another $5. Said, damn, Anton, you took me off the thumbnail. That hurts.
Welcome to my world.
Ooh!
Yeah, I took Q Diddy off the thumbnail too.
I was say Slim ain't on there either.
Yeah, I gotta ask Slim. I didn't know if Slim was coming tonight, but I'll update it.
Black Baby King 76 sent $5. Said, AD, some of them gems you can't spit. Keep it between you and God.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either. Monopoly sent $19. Said, Brittany and Kim, I love the way you women think, super intelligent. Britt is my fave. Hearts. Molly is pretty, but she hates men. Slap on the face. Shout out to Slimmy and Fatty. They be speaking facts. AD going forward, please allow Slimmy to cook. Molly, love the panel.
I don't hate men.
Nene sent $5. And Anton, I like it better when you are a mod. Mimi is great. Amazing as a regular panelist, though. I need Mimi's opinions. I give my opinions when I really want to give them. Well, I'm not barred from speaking. Chancey Eaglin sent $5. Said, hearing Molly talk makes a ninja not even want box. Good Lord. Just her voice alone makes me want to go to the gym instead of getting the box.
Y'all go to the gym and look at booties.
God, Molly. All right, let's go to this next subject, y'all. We got 2 more to go.
Dallas County judge has decided to allow some rap lyrics to be used in a murder for hire trial.
The case concerns the 2020 murder of Melvin Noble, a rapper who went by the name Mo3. Fox 4 Stephen Dial has the update.
This was a big part of the prosecution's strategy, trying to use rapper Yella Beezy's rap lyrics against him. Yella Beezy, whose legal name is Marquise Conway, is accused of hiring a hitman to kill Mo3, his rap rival. The judge's order today is somewhat of a blow to the prosecution's strategy. She's allowing 2 songs by Conway and 1 song from Mo3 to be played in court. The songs seemingly speak to the feud between the rappers, but the judge did not allow key prosecution songs that talked about bounty or celebrating the murder. The judge is also not allowing the Instagram live video that Yella Beezy was in the day of the murder. Prosecutors argued the lyrics in songs and say that they explain the motive behind the killing. The defense argued that the rappers are playing a character similar to professional wrestlers, and that the lyrics should not be taken as fact.
But the songs that the state has selected do not contain all that. In fact, they are braggadocious about criminal activity, but the criminal activity mentioned is directly on point to the charged offense. They talk directly about placing bounties for reprisal. They talk about the murder, and they talk about the feud.
Rappers make songs about putting hits on each other. They make songs about bounties. Again, it goes to the edginess and, in some people's opinions, the crassness and distastefulness of the music. But it's not evidence that Mr. Conway is making some sort of admission to committing the crime.
We also got the prosecution's witness list. On the list is Dallas rapper Trap Boy Freddy, who has songs with Yella Beezy. He has not been charged in this case. One of the songs that the judge is allowing the prosecution to use, they cannot play the part where Trap Boy Freddy is speaking.
Y'all think they should be using these lyrics in trials? What do y'all think?
Not really.
No, but I do need. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I do need these young rappers to stop snitching on themselves in their songs, though, because I don't. First of all, stop committing crimes. But why are you talking about it in your songs? If back in the day, some rappers used to just say things that they weren't even doing. Like they would talk about drugs, they weren't even doing drugs. They would talk about lean, they weren't even sipping it. Like y'all are out here committing whole murders and saying it in your lyrics. Like, at least be like fake about it, like the other rappers do, and just talk about other people's situations. Like, you're telling on yourself too much. Do I think they should be able to use it in court? No. But I also think they should stop talking about it so much. Or really stop doing it. But
so if it's a possibility that he killed him, if it's a possibility, because I think that everybody has to be proven guilty and they should be presumed innocent before that, right? And I think that that's standard across the board, unless you just have some smoking gun and evidence that shows otherwise. If it's you on a camera killing a nigga and it's undeniable, then go ahead and lock you up. But if it's a possibility that he killed him and then he had described how he killed him in his lyrics, are y'all saying that art shouldn't be admissible because it's art? But what if it's true?
yeah, that sucks. But I think that they need to actually do their job and find the actual evidence opposed to just taking their songs and saying, oh, look, he said something. People can say anything. So personally, I think that they should actually just do their due diligence and find the actual proof that they did it. Have the physical evidence, whether it's camera footage, whether it's guns. Like, I think they need to kind of do that opposed to just listening to the lyrics. Just like they do with lie detectors. Like, they don't always use those results in certain cases. Like, they'll take a lie detector test.
You could beat the lie detector test. I don't think that everybody
guilty. You can also lie about your lyrics. You could be
true.
at the time just talking and something might pop up. You know what I mean? So that's why
true.
I said I don't think that you should be able to use it.
People have been found guilty on circumstantial evidence. Lots.
Let me. All right. So let's say hypothetically that a bank gets robbed. And as a content creator that's creating entertainment, I get on here and I start talking about how me and my homies robbed a bank. And it directly correlates with the bank getting robbed. Should what I say on the internet be admissible as an entertainer?
No. I don't think so. I see where you're like, I see why that would make sense, but I think that they have to find the proof. That's just my opinion.
But if I say something that
People keep
perfectly
saying,
aligns, you don't
yeah,
think
I
that
mean, to
that
the
should be
common ear, to the common ear, yeah, it makes sense. Like I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense to where it's like, okay, yeah, he did it. But again, you got to be proven guilty. You saying something is not proving that you're guilty per se. That's not actual physical evidence.
I
Like
didn't say that.
I think that people should stop.
Testimony also is admissible, but that's not physical evidence either. Testimony is not physical evidence, but it's admitted. They don't only admit physical evidence inside of the court to be able to prove guilt or innocence.
I personally don't think it should be.
I agree with Brittany. I don't think it should be allowed. I mean, you and I can write similar songs that talk about, let's say, taking somebody out. How do we determine that it was you? You know, if you don't have your evidence and you're only going on this song, how do we know it's you and not me? And so I feel like your song shouldn't have any bearing on your conviction, or it just shouldn't be allowed in the court. Again, like Brittany was saying, find the evidence. Show me the evidence. Just saying that this is the evidence and it's backed up by your lyrics is not, that doesn't work for me.
So if you have evidence and it's backed up by your lyrics, that shouldn't work. What? Are y'all crazy?
No.
If you rap about something that you did and it aligns with your lyrics, the evidence aligns with your lyrics, that shouldn't be admissible.
No, I mean, how many songs do we have to talk about all the same stuff?
You
know, how many drug deals are in New York?
You said it. You said if the evidence aligns with your lyrics, that it still shouldn't be admissible.
Correct, because I think that you can make a lot of things align. Like if you were talking about drug cases in New York, how many New York drug dealers do we have saying all of this stuff in their lyrics? It's gonna overlap at some point. Like I just don't think that should be admissible for that reason. I mean, you have creative license to say and do whatever it is you want to say and do.
I disagree personally, and I think that it should be admissible because if you self-snitch, that's on you. And I don't think you should be able to profit off of somebody else's death, especially if the evidence shows that you are the one that committed it. I think this is what's wrong with the culture. This is what's wrong with the community. And just because we want our rappers to live their raps, don't mean that they shouldn't be held accountable for it. Even in free speech allows for you to say what you want to say, but it doesn't permit you from being held accountable for it. You can't just do what you want to do and not be held accountable for it. And I think you should absolutely 100% in every single situation. You know, one of the things that people did, and Molly, you just came back from Los Angeles investigating the case. The David dude basically documented and highlighted and made a mockery of killing a little girl. Right? He did a whole rollout and video based off of it. If the evidence aligns with what he said in what he showed in the video and said in the lyrics, you don't think it should be admissible?
If you have this evidence, why do you need the lyrics?
Because it confirms, it further confirms of what it is that you did. You self-snitched. I don't think that there's a limit of evidence. If they find a gun with your fingerprints on it, with the shell casing directly from another murder, I don't think that they limit it to just that one piece of evidence that they introduce. They gonna introduce every piece of evidence into the case.
I think it's okay to introduce every piece of evidence except for things that you literally could have just sat there and made up just because you felt like making it up. Just like it's like watching those disclaimers on movies and where they're like, well, anything that happens here isn't necessarily based on true events. it's just a coincidence. It's possible that those things could be a coincidence.
No.
Because it's creative. Like none of us have any original ideas. And that's why, like, if you go to Google something that's already been Googled, we just don't have original ideas. Whatever you're writing about, somebody else already wrote about.
Let me use an extreme example. If a guy is into little kids and he write about that in whatever form of entertainment that he write about it, should that be used as evidence admissible in court?
Is it a diary?
Whatever he write about, if he wrote it in a song and sung it, should we be able to use that, or should it just only be based off of what they can prove, as far as like only the pictures that they found on his computer or whatever, right?
I think it depends on what the writing is. If it's a diary and this is an account from you to you,
what if it's a song and he sung about it?
I feel like that's different.
So it shouldn't be able to be used.
No.
I think that if you self-snitch and you try to pass it off as entertainment, it should still be able to be used personally.
So do you think that the lyrics that R. Kelly has written, certain songs that they say were about young girls or like about Aaliyah and all of that, do you feel like that's the same situation for him, that they should be able to use his lyrics and say that he's guilty because of his songs?
If he was to specifically see that, let me tell you what the difference is. And I'm not defending R. Kelly, but I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. We don't know what he was talking about in R. Kelly's lyrics. What we know from rappers specifically is they name their ops. They be descriptive about where they gonna run up on them. They tell them that they smoking on a pack based off of the fact that they homie just got killed. They name these niggas. Like it'd be a straight up diss song.
They're definitely stupid.
But if R. Kelly wrote a song that specifically detailed what he did to a little girl, yes, it should be admissible. But unfortunately, they don't make it that clear and they don't make it as obvious as most of our rappers make it. They be so obvious with it. They name names. They name names. They talk about what happened and they do all of that shit.
If you're obvious with it and you're talking about who it happened with and where it happened and what you were wearing and all of that, I should be able to go get that evidence. So I don't need your song.
How are you able to go get evidence? You don't
What I'm
always be
saying
able to
is
get evidence. The evidence get destroyed, all of that shit.
If you're telling me, oh, I went with Slimmy to rob this bank. Okay, now let me look into Slimmy. Where was Slimmy at? Can I get some evidence on Slimmy that's gonna put all of this together? I shouldn't have to take it from the lyrics. Like I shouldn't have to introduce your lyrics into court when there's a mountain of evidence that you've given me from your words.
You're not telling me why not. You're just saying that they shouldn't. You're not telling me why they shouldn't.
Because you can make up anything. Like, because creative license says none of this has to be true.
And it can be. It doesn't say that it can't be true either, though.
No, but what are you presenting? Speculation? Or are you presenting evidence? Like things
anything could be speculation. Somebody's testimony could be speculation. It don't have to be true either. It don't stop them from testifying.
Which is why they normally would ask more than one person to testify. So because they're trying to line up these stories. And there are times when testimonies don't work. Again, because you can say anything.
It's so funny because people that listen to certain people in certain neighborhoods and hoods know exactly what's going on and why it aligns perfectly with what things happen. And I think that by the time that they arrest you, I've never seen anybody get arrested for rap lyrics, but I've seen people be able to use rap lyrics to confirm what they've already arrested you for. Nobody has ever been arrested for their lyrics. But everybody that gets in court and lyrics get introduced, it aligns or it confirms what they arrested you for of something else that they've been able to get you on the case for. So in that case, do I think that they should be able to arrest you off of lyrics alone? No. But if the lyrics confirm what they arrested you for, I absolutely think that should be a part of it. Because nobody gets arrested just based off of what they said in the rap.
Some of
Nobody.
them even
I
put
don't
their
agree.
weapons in their videos when they're rapping about.
So then go look for the weapon.
That's how they find some of these people, because they're rapping about it, and the weapon that they're talking about that they used. Sometimes they have had the actual thing in the video. I, I do think they're dumb, because I do think a lot of them snitch on themselves.
They not holding Lil Durk based off his lyrics. No, they not. No, they not. But I'm not going to speak on that again because I believe in innocent until proven guilty. And so we need to be able to see what they're presenting as evidence first. I'm not going to convict him just because I don't know yet. The trial hasn't started. But if the lyrics corroborate the evidence that they already have, I believe it should be admissible.
But I feel like if you can use lyrics that say, okay, I did this, and you use that as evidence, then the defense should be able to use as evidence a song saying, I didn't do this.
Cool. They could use that too. And we're going to leave it up to a jury.
So then why wouldn't everybody just make a song and say, I didn't do it?
But he didn't
they
make a song that
dumb.
said I didn't do it. He didn't make a song that said that.
He
You know what
couldn't.
they make a song say? They say, I'm smoking on this. I'm smoking on your homie. Because we ran up on that nigga. And little black boy was in the back, spraying 10 bullets. Then we double back, hit him with the ooh-ah.
He on
Then
a gravesite.
shipped him to the rack. My mans went to Mexico, and I sent them a stack. And then they pull up all of the fucking evidence, and it'd be right there. Yep, he sent them a stack. He sent them this, and he was in Iraq, and then they doubled back and came back around and shot him on the other side of the car. And the evidence corroborated. And you telling me that I shouldn't listen to this shit?
I'm saying it should not be introduced in court. But again, like you're saying, this dude say he sent him money. Okay, go look that up. That is your evidence, not the song. The song sent you in a direction of the tangible evidence that you show up with, but the song itself, no, don't introduce that in the court. Because again, if you can say, well, I brought this in the court because he said he did it, as the lawyer, I'm gonna be like, well, this song over here say he didn't. It say he was at
Well, it's really
McDonald's.
the judge and what they want to be allowed to be presented to the jury. And so if the judge thinks that this is incriminating, then most likely it's going to be against whomever was dumb enough to overshare. And I think that a lot of these rappers are criminals and they overshare. I don't think, I just, the whole Yella, this whole situation with him, it's been a long time thing. And I don't think anybody ever doubted, at least on the streets, that he probably had a hand in this other man's demise.
If you dumb enough to tell on yourself and lyrics and sell it to the general public, and I think that you should be dumb enough to go to have to deal with the consequences that come along with it.
Even when he was free,
if you're
people
dumb
in Texas were
enough
talking about it.
to detail the crime that was committed, that actually happened, and they could corroborate it and bring it back to you, you deserve everything that comes along with that, nigga. You deserve everything that comes along with the shit that you put out there.
They had a long beef, and I think at one point they were even friends before the whole beef happened. So it's not like they didn't know each other.
You shouldn't need a song to tell you that, though. If they had a long friendship or a long beef or whatever,
They Project Hood
there's
Rat
other
babies.
evidence.
We know
There's other
that.
evidence. Use your other evidence, not just this song that they can say that they just randomly wrote one day while they were high.
Because it ain't random, it's true. And everybody knows it's true.
But who's to say
Everybody
I
know
didn't?
it's
Okay,
true. That's the
no,
problem.
Anton told me this, and so I wrote it down.
Except the evidence put you there too. And so we're going to go ahead and corroborate it along with what you said. Listen, all you did in the song was map out what you did. And you gave them the breadcrumbs to follow you right into it. And so now all of a sudden you gonna go to jail for it. That's a you problem. I'm not gonna unadmit what you said because you basically led the police to what you did. You the dummy. Now I'm supposed to ignore what you said that basically told me how you did it. Nah.
I don't know. I feel like we have some confessions, actual confessions to the police that are not admissible in court. So you telling me now we can just go grab a random song?
It lines up
Not
with the
random.
evidence. It might
It's
not
not
be that
random.
random.
It's not random.
Even if you wrote it, again, we have people sitting
They're
up saying,
confessing.
I did it, and then it is not admissible in court. How can we then say, well, but they wrote this song that nobody saw them write, even though it could have come from anywhere and anybody?
This is content creation, right? If I interview somebody and they tell me on my platform how they did it, should that be admissible in court, even though this is entertainment?
I don't know. I'm undecided on that, to be honest.
No. This is entertainment. This is entertainment. If I interview somebody and they tell me what they did that ultimately aligns with something that should that be admissible in court?
At the end of the day, I just feel like if I say something that aligns with the crime, there should be some evidence that you can go and find based on what I said.
You're not answering the question. If
No.
somebody comes on my platform and they say that they did something, should that be admissible in court to corroborate along with the evidence of what they've discovered what was done?
No.
Okay.
And I don't think it should be necessary.
Okay.
I think one of the main problems is artists chase clout too much. This doesn't happen if artists aren't chasing clout and trying to impress brainless fans who encourage them to do dumb shit. You don't got to be a gangster rapper. You damn sure don't have to talk about killing nobody. I think that's one problem. Another problem is that the legal system is so fucked up, or the judicial system is so fucked up that they pick and choose what they want as evidence. So I think it's kind of fucked up that, yeah, you could use a song, but then if somebody actually says, yeah, I done did it, and they in a certain state of mind, they can still get off. I think it's fucked up, man. Like it's just a fucked up system. So it's hard to say whether certain things should be used. Yeah, you shouldn't write that shit. Hell no. You shouldn't be talking about smoking ops, none of that shit. But the judicial system is inconsistent. So it's like, damn, can you really use that shit when it's people that have said, I've done this, and they've gotten off? So it's a catch-22. I don't think they should be writing the lyrics at all. I would rather you fucking lie. Be a studio gangster. Shit, them motherfuckers made a lot of money. Be a studio gangster, man. Like, I still think that's dangerous though, because it still puts an impression on younger people to do dumb shit. But I'd rather you do that than actually killing somebody. It's crazy, man. It's fucked up. But you know, this is the state of rap now, and this is why I say, man, like, you just gotta be careful the energy that you put out there. If you're gonna always rap about killing, that shit gonna come back to you. That shit literally is gonna come back to you. Somebody gonna want to smoke you. So it's just a dangerous game that these people are playing, man. Like in more ways than one, way more ways than one. Like I said, it's just an inconsistent system. So I'm not really able to say yes or no to it because, like I said, there's been certain cases where shit then got, like, for instance, I feel like they went and got O.J. Simpson because he wrote a book. Because he wrote a book. I feel like that's why they went and got him. Because he wrote a book. It's like, oh, nigga, you got the audacity after you got off? Even though it was a lot of inconsistencies with his case. So it's a catch-22, man. The judicial system is fucked up. But a lot of things can be true in this scenario. Stop writing them fucking lyrics.
They went and got OJ for a different reason, though.
I mean, I know why they got him. They got him because he went to go buy. He claimed he went to go buy back his memorabilia, and he had some goons with him, and he took it back. Well, technically, he didn't steal it.
He took it.
Technically, it was his that was stolen from him. But it
was at gunpoint. I think that was the problem. He had a gun. Yeah.
No.
Somebody had a gun.
OJ didn't have a gun.
Yes, so one of the goons had a gun.
He went down for writing the book, though. He went down for writing the book. Like, they found anything, because there's no way you could just say that. OJ was like 60 years old. He couldn't strong arm nobody. Like, I mean, I guess he was still a bigger guy, but he's still 60 years old. So it was the people that was with him. They were armed. They probably wasn't. Who knows how that went down, man? But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it, man. It's fucked up, man. Artists, stop chasing clout. Stop writing them stupid ass songs.
All right.
We can get super chats.
All right, y'all. Chauncey England said, all men paying for box metaphor is like a rental car versus one you leasing to buy. You pay for both. Thank you for the $5 super chat. We appreciate it. Black Baby Kane 76 sent $5, said it means some of the thoughts of men can't be shared with women, only God. Keon Bell sent $1.99, said Key and Peele did a skit about rappers self-snitching.
I remember that.
Yeah. Mr. Bogart 1 sent $5, said music is art and shouldn't be infringed upon. A director can't be held accountable for his art. Cobby Fitness sent $9.99, says Truton, the things they say aligns with series of events that occurred during or after a crime. Sometimes even saying stuff that the police never released. That's enough to convict. Monopoly 6312 sent $1.99, said, in case the police listening, all of this is all cap, Dirk. Monopoly also, oh, I'm sorry, read that already. Satriel 252 sent $4.99, said about to join the Patreon. I'm willing to put in the time to learn something new right now.
You're gonna benefit from it significantly, bro.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right,
there's a lot of information in there, bro.
Mm-hmm. Definitely made me lots of money. Let's get to this last subject.
Now to that angry Senate hearing with Dr. Anthony Fauci today, the GOP confronting him over diary entries and his handling of the government response to the COVID pandemic. Fauci refusing to answer any questions. He now faces threats of contempt. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian reports.
In question,
who the do you think you were for doing that?
After question,
what day of the week is it today?
Dr. Anthony Fauci gave the same answer.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer. I respectfully decline to answer. I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The former COVID advisor invoked the Fifth more than 100 times after being subpoenaed by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who he has clashed with for years, calling it an unhinged obsession.
The sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars.
Paul kicked one of Fauci's lawyers out of the hearing.
Security, please remove him from the room.
He countered that the panel was simply seeking answers to the origins of COVID and whether it originated naturally or was leaked by a lab in Wuhan, China. Paul recently released a trove of Fauci's diary entries that he claims shows the 85-year-old immunologist had contradicting views.
While you concluded publicly that COVID occurred naturally, your private record tells a different story.
Democrats accuse the GOP of conducting a biased investigation.
This years-long public crusade against Dr. Fauci makes one thing clear. This is not a serious effort to seek information from Dr. Fauci.
Chairman Paul plans a committee vote next week to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress for refusing to answer questions. Fauci was pardoned by former President Biden, but it would likely only cover him for any actions before it was issued, Matt.
That's crazy. He didn't answer one single question, I don't think. What do y'all think about that? This is wow.
This is exactly what I was just talking about, the inconsistencies of the judicial system. Just like that, in a matter of 5 minutes, the things that I was just saying correlate with this exact same system. It's insane. And this isn't even the same type of case, I get it. But it's insane that this man who's committed crimes against humanity, he's literally able to walk away a free man. He doesn't have to answer any questions. He doesn't have to be held accountable in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And they have the evidence that actually proves him guilty.
That's why he was pardoned.
I don't understand why he's even being questioned if he was pardoned. It's just gonna piss everybody off.
Well, he was pardoned on the federal level. He can still be convicted like by states and some other stuff, which is probably the reason why he kept pleading the fifth, so that you don't get yourself all tied up in there.
Yeah.
But then also, I think that they said that once they subpoena you or something like that, you have to answer. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they're trying to hold him in contempt.
Coward. That's what.
Yeah. It's scary.
It's scary how wrong he was, how he lied to everybody, how so many people, like people's way of life, was altered by this.
And still is to this day.
Right. People lost jobs. People died from myocarditis and all kinds of other stuff because they believed that this is what they needed to survive from something that was totally made up and didn't need to happen.
People lost friends, family members because they were too afraid of not following the rules based off of what they were telling people to do, stay away from people. People weren't seeing their families during that time. People's family members were passing away. It's just like you set the world up for just failure. Like it was a disaster, literally. And now you can't say anything. That's crazy.
And he's probably a billionaire. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but he's super rich. But you know, he also has something to do with the AIDS epidemic too. Now, that's the rumors.
Dr. Fauci has something to do with a lot of anything involving a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. When I said he should be guilty for crimes against humanity, I don't mean this. It's a long grocery list of crimes he's committed. He's an 80-year-old man. I think he's been doing this shit for about 50 years. He's always been the center of attention when it comes to widespread disease. And nobody bats an eye at this guy. And no, they don't call him evil. It's crazy. But I do. One thing I will say, though, about people not seeing their families, and at some point, you got to wake up, though. You can't be sheeple. So, like, people not going to see their families and family members dying because you believe an evil source, that's your own fault.
They weren't allowing people in the hospitals, though. They were locking the hospitals down. People died alone in hospitals.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that people who chose to stay away from family members. People weren't giving people hugs. They were scared to touch folks because of the fear mongering. You didn't have to believe it. That's your own issue. That's your own issue. You don't have to believe everything the fucking government tells you. You can think for yourself. You could think that, hey, there's no droplets in the air that's going to kill me. I'm going to get a disease because something is flying in the air. Unless it's an actual war. Unless it is chemical warfare. It's the only way that could happen. So that's on people to think for themselves. Groupthink, it gets you in a lot of trouble. Trusting the government gets you in a lot of trouble. Listening to people like Dr. Fauci, it gets you into a lot of trouble.
I don't know if like y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all cared or listened to him or anything like that. But at the time, what saved me from falling into the trap was not only because I did it for myself, but I was listening to a lot of like right before it started and then like right when it started, Young Pharaoh. And I understand some people feel like he's just this and that, but at the time, he was spending a lot of knowledge. And I feel like a lot of stuff he was saying today, I'm starting to realize that he wasn't necessarily not telling the truth about it. And to me, like with the getting the shot and all of that, I wasn't doing that anyway, but it kind of helped me too to just kind of be like, okay, so there are reasons why these people are saying these things. And some people didn't want to believe it. And I get people being scared because it was a situation where people hadn't experienced it. That makes sense to me. But to not visit your family and your friends and all that type of stuff, or to lose family and friends behind, like what the government is telling. I used to tell people, like, when has the government ever cared about you? Like, they're painting this picture like they care about you. Oh, we want you to be safe. We care. When have they ever cared about you for real? And y'all are listening to that, and you're just taking that in and just saying, oh, forget my family. You ain't my family if you don't get vaccinated. So I didn't know you my whole life. Like, and because I'm not putting something inside of my body, we're not family anymore. Okay, cool. So I just wish people would think more for themselves. But he's definitely the devil. I'll say that. He's the devil.
I think this is an unfair conversation to hold people accountable for heeding the warning signs that our government told us to heed, regardless of whether they were right or that they were wrong. I think it's an unfair assessment to say that people should have thought for themselves compared to actually listening to the warning that comes from our government. I don't think that there was a right or a wrong. I don't think that people had enough. I mean, it's easy to make that assessment in hindsight, but I don't think that anybody knew what they was getting themselves into. I think that people were figuring it out as they and made the best decision that they could at the time that they had to make the decision.
The only reason why I would, because I agree with that, but the only reason why I would kind of give pushback on it is because it felt like they didn't have the answers either. So it's like they're telling us to do something, and they started maybe like in the beginning, but I feel like after a while, it was kind of like they started doing things to me that was like pandering to people to get the shot, or like, at least I know out here in Georgia, like they were slanging chicken sandwiches, and it's like, for a shot, we're going to come to your house. When it started becoming like we're going to force this on you, opposed to saying like, okay, this is something maybe you should do because it could protect you. And then you're hearing stories of other people getting vaccinated, but they're still getting it, and they're getting it multiple times. It's kind of like at that point, you do start to need to think for yourself, because do y'all even know what you're doing?
People did think for themselves, though. They thought for themselves every single day when they were going through it. Y'all got to remember, it was people dying.
Oh, I remember.
And people's families. Like, people were literally dying. So every situation was different, because every person had a different circumstance that they were dealing with. And so it's kind of difficult for me to say, well, you didn't think for yourself. I don't know what you was dealing with. You had limited information. You had people around you that was suffering. People were figuring out the symptoms as they came, and nobody knew what the fuck was going on until, I don't think we still don't know. we still don't know for a fact what, who, what, when, where, why, and how. Like, we don't know. We have assumptions, we give assessments, we do all of that stuff. But when people are making a life decision, in my opinion, based off of what is happening in real time, it's kind of hard to hold them accountable and say that they didn't think for themselves when they made a decision based off of what they thought was the best decision based off of the limited information that they had at the time.
I think some people
So-
do that. I don't think all people do that though.
Well, I think that
How would you know?
you know, as a person who did not,
So
as a person who didn't get vaccinated, who it did not make sense to me, I can't say that the people who did get vaccinated weren't thinking for themselves. At the end of the day, none of us went and did the research ourselves, so we really don't know. So we pick and choose what we're going to accept and what we don't based on just really how we feel about it. You know, they're telling us washing your hands kills germs. How do you know? Did you ever yourself go look under a microscope at the germs before and after you wash your hands? No, you decided that this was information that you wanted to take in and accept. And so I think this was one of those situations. Now, again, it didn't make sense to me, and that's why I didn't do it. But I can't knock everybody for making whatever decision they made and for thinking that that was the best thing to do for them. Nobody went into it saying this is a terrible decision and it's going to have terrible consequences, but I'm going to do it anyway.
And that's like the first thing I agree with you on in a long time. What is going on?
I don't know. You must have been drinking.
I must have been drinking. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that, you know, I remember when I got it and then, you know, people around me got it. We had different symptoms. I could taste, but then was people around me that couldn't taste. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't taste for a long time. And, you know, it was different people that had different symptoms and stuff like that. And so it was just like, nobody knew anything. Everybody just knew. I remember my brother got it and I had to take in his kids and his wife. But then his wife, you know, basically I just had to take in the kids because the wife left to be with him because he was in the hospital and he thought that he was going to die. I was talking to him every day. And so the decisions that we were making was based off of what our current circumstances was. Because he was in a hospital and I had his kids. You know what I'm saying? And so.
Was he vaccinated?
This was before all of that. The vaccination stuff came later. That wasn't an immediate response. The immediate.
So he just got COVID. Is that what
yeah, he had just got COVID.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, you know, different people was making different decisions based off of what was going on in their circumstances. You know, some people was making a decision to not go to the hospital. Some people was making a decision to go to the hospital. Nobody knew what to do, you know, because it was literally a day-to-day situation and a day-to-day decision to make.
When I say think for yourselves, I don't know if you guys think I'm saying like, I'm talking about there were people who were being forced to do, like, for instance, like, you can go into a grocery store and people are like, oh, you should wear a mask. Like, why don't you have no mask? And now, granted, in Georgia, it was a little bit more open than probably other places. It was still certain places you couldn't go. Well, you could go anywhere, but they would like look at you weird if you didn't wear a mask or whatever the case may be. So some people will be like, oh, I'm going to just start doing this because everyone is telling me to, or maybe I should just wear. And that's more so what I'm saying. Think for yourself. I'm not talking, if you got vaccinated, cool. I'm not judging people for people who made the decision for themselves. I'm talking about the people who were just listening to other people and saying, I'm just going to do this just because. There were people that were doing that. They didn't do no research on their own. They didn't even try to figure out anything at all. They were just like, oh, I'm just going to listen to such and such and I'm going to go get vaccinated.
But how was that any different from any other time when you go to certain
Well,
countries,
I'm talking about it should be your decision, period. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to listen to someone else telling me to do it. If I'm going to do it, that's fine, but it needs to be my decision. That's all I'm saying. I'm
even
not
if
telling
somebody's
people they
But at
should
the end of
do
the
it.
day, it is your decision, even if you listen to somebody else. It's still your
facts.
decision.
I mean, yeah, but that's what I mean by thinking for yourself. Like, still think for yourself. Like, I'm not going to tell people not to not think for themselves. Like,
If you go to certain countries, you have to get vaccinated to do so.
yeah, but that's different.
If you
from
decide to
living
get,
in the United
how
States
is
of
it
America.
different?
It's not though, because like I
How
had
is
to
it
take
different?
yellow fever
Because I
vaccination
didn't
to
have
go
to
to
take it if
Ghana.
I didn't want to.
Yep.
I'm not talking about a different country. I'm talking about
But
in the
it's
United States.
also different when you have to. Some of these people were losing jobs. Like, how am I supposed to feed
Because they probably
my
felt like they
family?
had to. That's different,
They
though.
did feel like they had to. But
But I'm
again,
not
that's still
talking
based
about
on what
situations.
somebody else
Y'all are talking about
said.
situations that I agree with you on. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about when I made the statement originally, when I said people aren't thinking of themselves, I'm talking about maybe situations that I've known people to be in my own personal situation. I'm saying some people weren't thinking for themselves. I'm not just making that up. They weren't. I'm not saying that some people were or weren't doing it, but I know people who weren't thinking for themselves. So that's what I meant when I made that statement. And I also stated that they were out here slanging chicken sandwiches and people were lining up to get vaccinated for a chicken sandwich. That's also
But
what I said.
again,
I don't even
we
know what
do
that
that
means, to be
every
honest.
day.
They were trying to sell you chicken sandwiches.
They
to
would
get
give you a voucher
Or-
for a
or
free chicken
lunch.
sandwich at Popeyes if you went and got vaccinated.
Yeah. Or crispy
And
Kreme
people were
sandwich.
lined up
Yes.
to get the free
That's
chicken
where I
sandwich.
was going when I
They
said
were
people aren't
probably going to
thinking
get vaccinated anyway and
And
wanted to go
decided to
get
get
the
the
sandwich.
chicken sandwich. Yeah, it could be
No.
that too.
And see,
But
that's what I'm saying.
the point that I'm in is, how do you know that somebody wasn't thinking for themselves just because they made the decision to do something that you don't agree with what they're doing?
I didn't say I didn't agree with what they did or didn't. I don't care if you did it or didn't do it. I'm just saying people should think for themselves. Do what you feel like is going to be best for you. Why is that a bad thing to say? Like, I think everybody should know that. That's kind of common sense.
You
If
missing
you're
what I'm
going to
saying.
do it, just
How
make
do
sure
you-
it's something you feel like it's
How
for
do
you.
you know that they weren't thinking for themselves?
I told you okay, so conversations I was having with people, that's what I'm saying. I know people who were not doing it for themselves. They were just doing it because, oh, my mama think I should get it, I'm gonna just get it. Do you think you should get it? Like, do you think you should get vaccinated? You're an adult. That's more of what I'm talking about. Like, well, I don't know. I think I'm just doing it because she said I should. What? Like, you're grown. That's more so what I'm saying. Whether you
still
want to
think
do
we
it or
do
not
that
is none of
every
my
day,
business. I
though.
don't care what you do with your body. I'm just saying, think for yourself, though. Make
If
sure
something
it is
happened,
Still
if
do
something
that
happened,
every day.
if something happened today, right?
I don't understand why
And I hate using myself as an example, but I have, in this instance, I'm gonna use a real example. If something happened today and my daughter says, "Dad, what should I do?" She's going to do what I tell her to do, even though she's 18 years old.
But that's her.
She's going to, I'm just telling you the truth. She's
And
going
that
to she's going to do what I tell her to do because she trusts my judgment. Now, she probably did go through the process of thinking through all of the different options, but then when she couldn't make a decision, she probably sought what she thought was wise counsel,
So
which
she
is
asked
her,
you then,
which is her father. So what I'm saying is, just because somebody may say something doesn't necessarily mean that they're not thinking for themselves.
That's not even what I said. And you said if she came to you.
You use an example of somebody saying that their parents said that they should get it, and that's why they're doing it.
But they did not ask their parent. Their parent told them, and they're an adult. Your daughter coming to you and asking you, Dad, what should I do, is a little bit different. In my opinion,
I'm going to tell her what to do regardless. I'm going to tell her what to do before she asks me.
That's fine. But again, as a grown 30-something-year-old person, I think you should think for yourself. Like, I don't know why that's not a good thing to say.
I think that we make too many decisions.
Why do you
in a
keep
day
saying that? I don't
have
think that that's a good thing to say. It's just your
Because
opinion.
we're still talking. I
Doesn't
mean,
mean-
I guess
doesn't
because
mean that it's right or wrong. It's just that we're having a
big
conversation.
deal. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you guys that people can still ask questions. I didn't disagree with any of that. I wasn't trying to have this be the back and forth part. I just said a statement that some people weren't thinking for themselves, and there were people that were getting chicken sandwiches for shots. Like, that's all I said. I wasn't saying that everybody was doing that. I didn't know this was gonna like drag on. That's what I'm saying. This portion of it, because I agree.
People are
with
sheeple and they trust the government too much. People are sheeple and they trust the government too much. That's what Anton probably talking about. I don't know, but yeah, people don't think for themselves. They trust the government too much. That's why you have people calling phone numbers, telling on their neighbors because they felt like they weren't vaccinated. That's not thinking for yourself. That's you following orders. That's you adhering, being compliant with what the government is telling you. That's not thinking for yourself. There's an example that actually took place that we all know that was real. That's people not thinking for themselves. That's them trusting the government, having their best interest. How could a vaccination that was untested work in everybody when everybody's body works differently? Everybody's body functions differently. I can't take the same amount of Tylenol that you can and get rid of my headache. So how could a vaccination that was untested be good for everybody? How is it going to save everybody when you don't even know what the fuck is going on for real? It doesn't make sense. This is why I'm saying people weren't thinking for themselves. They were trusting everything that was told to them. Oh, you should wear a mask. You got to stand 6 feet apart. You got to do this. You got to do that. Why are you so trusting of what these people are saying when they don't know what's going on and they're not telling? Actually, they do know what's going on and they're not telling you the truth. You got the evidence right here that this man was lying about it the whole fucking time. And we still not trying to hold this man accountable. We're talking to each other. We're talking to regular people who didn't know what was going on and acting as if they're wrong for saying, don't trust the government.
How can we hold Dr. Fauci accountable?
What do you mean how?
Because he knew he was lying.
How do we hold Dr. Fauci? I don't agree with everything you said, but you did say something that I think is worthy of a conversation. How can we hold Dr. Fauci accountable?
Because they found his notes, and he said in his notes specifically that he knows that it was man-made.
How can we hold Dr. Fauci accountable?
Because it's in his notes.
Put him in prison.
He was the one. Well,
he has immunity.
You want to let me answer?
Listen.
Do you want me to answer or what?
Well,
so, okay.
I was responding to Kim because Kim actually responded also. But go ahead, Sonny.
This is the thing. Dr. Fauci put himself front and center of the vaccination. He put himself front and center. He chose several times in all types of pandemics. He's front and center. So yes, you have to be able to hold him accountable. I don't give a fuck about no pardon or any of that shit. What do you mean how?
Well,
how can you hold him accountable?
You can still say that this man is guilty of something.
That's not holding him accountable. When I think of holding somebody accountable, let me explain myself. When I think of holding somebody accountable, I think of convictions, arrests, putting people in jail, doing something to them. And what I'm asking specifically is, how do we hold somebody accountable who has been pre-pardoned and is pleading the fifth to the Senate, and that you can't literally hold him accountable for what you guys are describing as what he did? How can we hold him accountable for something that he can't be convicted for?
But again, that's only on the federal level.
Why are
because
you
said it. You said we need to hold him accountable. And so I'm asking you.
I said, Anton. I said he should be in prison for crimes against humanity.
I followed up a question with a question when you said, why are we not holding him accountable? I said, how can we hold him accountable for something that we can't put him in prison for, is what I said. How can we hold him accountable? There's nothing we can do to him.
Hold on, Kim. Hold on, Kim. Because Anton knows exactly what I meant when I said that. Because we're talking to people, regular people up here. You're saying that people weren't thinking for themselves, and we shouldn't be able to say that people weren't thinking for themselves. But yet, we don't know what was going on. We can make an assessment that people weren't thinking for themselves and that Dr. Fauci was misleading folks. You can hold him accountable for being wrong and telling lies. You can literally say he's a liar. You can say he's a liar and that he was the problem the whole time. Instead of
That's not
saying that
holding them
people,
accountable.
hold on, sir. Instead of saying that people shouldn't say that folks weren't thinking for themselves, you could just say, hey, man, really at the end of the day, Dr. Fauci was problematic in the whole situation, and that we should be looking at him for being the most problematic when it came to the pandemic and several other pandemics of the past. That's literally what you can do. You can
That's not holding them accountable, in my opinion.
Bro, I'm talking about as far as having a discussion. I'm
Okay,
not talking about
that's a different
legal.
conversation.
But that's what I was talking about the whole time, and I prefaced that by saying we shouldn't be talking about regular people saying, yeah, you can't say folks weren't thinking for themselves. We should be looking at Dr. Fauci as the problem. I said that. So I don't know how you get into the legal situation.
What I was trying to understand, and that's why I asked the question about how can we hold him accountable, because I'm trying to separate what accountability looks like to me. Holding somebody accountable is taking something from them, doing something to them, convicting them, arresting them, so on and so forth. I don't believe that you can hold him accountable. We can have our opinions about him. We could say, well, he's a bad guy, so on and so forth. But in my opinion, that's not holding nobody accountable. He don't give a fuck. He not tripping. He not gonna lose no sleep. He not going to jail. He'll never see a day in prison. He's not gonna be arrested. I think that this Senate hearing was just for shits and giggles.
What I said, Anton.
I'm not ignoring what you're saying. I'm not ignoring what you're saying. I'm not even addressing everything that you're saying. I'm speaking for myself. I'm saying that accountability looks different for me than it does for other people. And if nothing happens, if it doesn't matter, and if he's never, ever going to see a day inside of a jail cell, which he's not, he won't in any shape or form capacity, then what the fuck are we talking about as far as accountability? He's never going to see a day in jail. None of this is ever going to happen. It doesn't even matter. He served under two presidents. He served under a Democrat president and a Republican president. He's been in power for a long time. Nobody is holding Dr. Fauci accountable. Nobody is doing anything to him.
The states could try to prosecute
Since AIDS, he's been running the show, but
yeah,
Donald Trump gave us the vaccines initially. So I mean, I don't.
But I think that that's why they are trying to like hold him in contempt and all this, to hold him accountable, knowing that they can't charge him on a federal level. I don't understand personally how the states can't go after him. Like, because
he's protected by big money. He's protected by the pharmacy. I mean, he's
right.
Just
but I'm saying in theory, right? In theory, he's not pardoned on a state level.
State gonna spend no money to prosecute him. Ain't nobody going after.
I'm just saying it's possible, though. It is possible. It is within the realm of possibilities. Now, whether or not somebody's going to do it is a different conversation.
I don't even know if that's possible. I don't even know. I'm smart enough to know I'm not smart enough to know if a state can even charge him for anything. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know. And so I think that a lot of times we say stuff that has no impact on what's on the reality of what we looking at. Like I don't know anything about that. But the fact of the matter is, I know that he stood before the Senate and he invoked his Fifth Amendment right 111 times, and he got a pre-pardon by the fucking president, by the previous president, before he even left out of office. Dr. Fauci is 80. Ain't nobody doing shit to him.
I mean, how old was Cosby?
Cosby and Dr. Fauci is two different people.
I'm just saying, they go after old people when they feel like it. So if somebody actually felt like it, and he wasn't being protected, like Molly said, by the big money, by big pharma, by all these presidents and all these people in power, then yes, I think that he could be prosecuted. But I also think that on his end, pleading the fifth for everything.
What would he be prosecuted for?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure that there's something in there that they can get him for on a state level if they so felt like it. But on his end, to say that he was pleading the fifth, I think, was the smartest thing he could do, so that, because he knows more than likely the states aren't going to take this up. They aren't going to look into it. And he knows that he is pardoned federally. Other than that, the easiest thing to get him on would be perjury or something like that. And so pleading the fifth, I didn't say anything. You can't get me on perjury. I think that he was very careful with what he was doing for that reason, to not get hemmed up somewhere else.
The thing that y'all not talking about is, honestly, I don't think this got shit to do with no Dr. Fauci. Listen, these people like a Dr. Fauci, they easy targets because they're the face. They're not the people that actually make the decisions on a regular basis of what goes on in the federal government. The people that you really want, you'll never know their name. You'll never see who they are. You'll never be able to identify them. They will never show up in public, and they will never make themselves available to you or be held accountable. And these are the motherfuckers that control governments, presidents, and determine what happens. Y'all need to go read Henry Kissinger's book, Diplomacy. Y'all need to go and study exactly how people move. Listen, these type of people like a Henry Kissinger, they serve under all presidents. They're not Republican, they're not conservative. They're not the type of people that we see on a daily basis. Dr. Fauci, in my opinion, is a fucking face. He did what he was told to do, and he was pardoned for it, and he was probably rewarded for it very, very handsomely. I think that Dr. Fauci is just a fucking face. I don't even think that he's the guy at all. I don't think it's one guy. I don't think it's one guy at all.
One guy about what?
Listen to what I'm saying.
One guy about what, though, Anton?
Listen to what I'm saying.
Hold on, wait. I want to ask Anton a specific question.
Listen to what I'm saying.
One guy about what?
Listen to what I'm saying. Anything that, from the Epstein files to Dr. Fauci to the fucking war, anybody that you see that puts a face to it or attach themselves to it is not a person that's really making a decision on what the fuck is going on. We truly, Sammy, can you please let me talk? We keep on trying to have these conversations about. We keep on trying to have these conversations about Dr. Fauci. The reason, in my opinion, why he's able to go up there is because he can plead the fifth. The person that called him up there before the Senate was Rand Paul. I don't give a fuck about what he think. I guess my point is that I think that people want blood, but people are misguided because the person that they want blood from, they can't even get any blood out of him. They're not gonna draw no blood out of him. Ain't nothing you can do to him. He never gonna see the inside of a prison, and so there is no accountability to be had from Dr. Fauci.
So who he working for?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I just said that you'll never know him. You don't. Nobody knows him.
Hold on. Sorry,
how am I supposed to know who he working for?
I got another question for you.
Cool.
So if you saying that it's people beyond the government that run things, who are you referring to?
I just said I don't know. I don't know.
So
how am I supposed to know?
Do think,
if they don't make themselves available to the general public?
So you do think that there are people beyond the government that run the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why do you have so much pushback when I say certain things if you believe that?
Like what? Give me an example.
Plenty of times I said that you can't trust the government because the people that we see aren't running the country. And you got hella pushback when I say that.
Because the reason why I got pushback when you say that is because you look at the government. You want me to answer the question? You look at the government. You look at the government as one entity because you
don't know how I look at the government, sir.
Sammy, you gonna let me answer the question or not? You look, it's a rhetorical question, and you already know what my answer is. You look at the government as one entity. I look at the government as a whole lot of different entities that all come together, and it forms different things. And so a lot of times you'll say
Can you
all
please not tell
politicians,
me how I think so?
you'll say politicians are corrupt. And I'll say, no, all politicians are not corrupt. And one of the examples that I'll use is I think that it's important for you to get involved in local politics, right? A small municipality is much different than the national government. A state's government or state legislators are much different than mayors, right? And so I don't look at it as one thing. I look at it as separate entities that deal with different issues. What's happening in Chicago is much different than what's happening in Milwaukee, is much different than what's happening abroad as far as what we fighting in wars. So I don't look at the government from the same lens that you look at it. You say the government. I say a government over here.
Think about something.
Why do you what? Okay, so why do you ask me a question if you don't want me to answer it in full?
Because you're telling me what I think. And you've never heard me say that, Anton. You can't. Why do you do that?
You have the opportunity to rebut. The same way that you told me what I just said, you say what I say, and then I give you the context and I let you finish, is the same way that you have the opportunity to correct me when I get done. But
Anton,
you do all of this hemming and hawing and all of this stuff. And I'm like,
so nobody can make noise. Nobody can. So nobody can make noise.
You can, but I think that
I laughed.
I
laughed and
you can, Slimmy.
I laughed.
It's fine, Slimmy. I think that you ask rhetorical questions not for insight, but to try to prove a point. And I think that your point, the points that you try to prove is moot. I think it's crazy. I think the points that you try to prove is moot.
Boy, I don't know who you are, but this ain't Anton Daniels, nigga.
It is, nigga. It is.
You bugging.
I'm doing what Brittany told us to do. I'm thinking for myself.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Because you can't say all these times that I said, hey man, the figures that we look at as the government aren't the ones running the country. You then blew down 1,000 times and said I was wrong. And then you literally just said what I've been saying on this platform the whole time and said that you agree with it. So why did you argue with me all those times? And then you tried to lie and make some bogus shit up that I think the government is one. Like, why would you say that? You ain't never heard me say that.
Did you hear what I just said?
Anton, you blatantly said Anton,
each issue is its own issue, Slimmy.
Anton, please. You blatantly lied and said, I think the government is one thing.
Yes, you're talking about it like it's one entity.
No, I don't. That's how you take it. That's how you want to. Anton, stop.
No, I'm not gonna stop. Cool. No, I'm not. When I talk about crime in Chicago, that's completely separate from immigration in Texas, which is completely separate from TPS for Haitians being deported back to Haiti, which is completely separate from a war with Iran, which is completely separate from a proxy war with Taiwan, which is completely separate from the Bears trying to move over to Hammond, Indiana, because Illinois can't get themselves together. All of these issues are separate things that are being impacted by decisions that are happening on a local level, on a national level, and so on and so forth. It's a complex web that we have to deal with. And so what I'm saying is that all government in itself needs to be talked about separately. It's all different. It's different on all levels. That's not wrong. And it's not word salad. It's the truth. Now, because we don't want to talk about it, and have a discussion and admit Anton is right about this particular thing, and then Anton also agrees with Slimmy on this particular thing, but I have to agree with you wholeheartedly. Otherwise, who is this guy talking? It's crazy to me.
Anton, you literally put words in my mouth that I've never said and told me how I think.
Then correct me.
You would be pissed if somebody did that to you.
Nope, I'm gonna just correct them.
No. All right, man. You got it, dog.
I'm gonna just correct them.
You're not yet. And then once again, you're not telling the truth.
What am I not telling the truth about?
You're not just you're going to you literally just screamed about 50 Cent the other night. You literally just screamed about it.
We went from the government to 50 Cent. All right.
No, Anton, don't do that. Like,
don't do what? What are we talking about? We're talking about the government.
All right, bro. You got it, man. This is really bad.
You have to use your words to communicate, Slimmy.
I said you were just screaming about 50 Cent the other night when I brought it up and you thought I was putting words in your mouth. You were just screaming about that.
No, we were passionate. I wasn't angry at you. I did not get upset at you, Slimmy. You know that we argue passionately. You know I've never gotten upset with you, Slimmy. Stop it.
Anton,
Slimmy, we have never gotten upset with each other.
Anton, listen to what I'm saying for understanding. Because you do not like, I said you don't like when people put words in your mouth. That's literally what I said.
And I'm going to correct you.
So that's not, no, you didn't correct. You started screaming.
No,
you started screaming.
Stop it, Slimmy. Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, bro.
Because now you're making an emotional assessment right now, and that's not true.
No, it's not emotional at all. You was emotional.
Yeah, I said that I'm emotional. I said I'm passionate about what we talk about.
I'm not making an I'm literally breaking down what you've done, and you've contradicted yourself tonight on a huge level, on like the most highest level you could. Because
on the highest level,
you actually agreed with everything I've been saying about the shadow government, even though thousands of times you tried to say that it doesn't exist. You argued me down as if it didn't exist.
I argued you down, and I said that things don't happen behind the scenes from people that control what goes on that's beyond the faces that we see. I've argued you down about that.
Anton.
I argued you down about that.
Okay. Kim, how many times have we had this debate? And Anton played oblivious as if there was no shadow government.
I didn't say it was. No, I don't believe in a shadow government. See, that's what I'm saying.
Sir. Can you just let her answer the question, sir? Can you
No. I don't believe, because you're twisting my words.
I'm not twisting any words. I'm talking about the words that I use.
I don't believe in a shadow government.
Kim,
I don't believe in a shadow government. You're right. I don't. I think that people that control what goes on controls the money. I don't think that has anything to do with the shadow government. I think that that's business. I don't think that Hell Hydra. I don't think that. I don't
contradicting yourself.
I don't think that Hell Hydra exists. I think that when people make decisions, it's ultimately coming with money and power. I think you using the word shadow government. I've never used the word shadow government.
So taking the word shadow government out of the conversation, I think for all the times that any of the conspiracy theorists on the panel have said these people are just the face and there's some other stuff going on, you negated that.
Yeah, because of the context of the conversation. See, again, you have to be specific. A lot of times what I tell people to do is substantiate your argument. What Slimmy and Molly a lot of times what used to do is they would say something and then they would say, you got to do the research. You got to figure it out. And I would say, no, I don't. You made the point. You prove what we saying is off, or you prove and substantiate your argument. And so just because I may not agree with a talking point that they have, a specific talking point, does not mean that overall I don't believe that there's people that have influence and control over what happens when it comes to our government. A lot of them are lobbyists. A lot of them use money to lobby the government. A lot of them use money to influence and lobby the government to do certain things. The reasons that we have some of these tariffs in place, for example, is industries are protecting themselves from the influx of products that come from China. That's the reason why we don't have Chinese cars in the United States of America. That's a separate issue from a war with Israel. Right? That's a separate issue from what's going on with Ukraine. if the automotive industry or the semiconductor chip industry is lobbying the federal government to get a seat at the table to determine policy to make sure that we don't have an influx of Chinese cars because it'll destroy their business, then that's a form of financial influence over our government. It's not just one thing. It's not just one way. So when we have these conversations, we need to separate it. Is this happening over here? Is this happening over here? Yes, I agree with you on this one. I don't agree with you on this one.
Anton, you've literally argued with me
Jesus
about
Christ.
the lobbyists.
Why is it so hard to
you
figure out?
contradicting yourself. This might be the worst contradiction up here ever.
What are
You've
you talking
literally
about?
argued. You've argued with me about the lobbyists.
You sound crazy, Slimmy.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Make a poll.
No.
You're literally proving my point that I said up here every time that you argue that
Eastern,
you are proving the same.
3 hours in the
You
show.
are repeating things that I
poll.
said up here that you argue with me about, Anton.
You don't even talk about the automotive industry. The fuck is you talking about? You don't talk about that stuff. I talk about that every day on the Millionaire Morning Show. These are things I say every single day. I spend more time breaking down the government and what happens from a financial perspective on the Millionaire Morning. I stream longer on a daily basis, more times a week on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I have these conversations with the people on a regular basis. By the time I get to this shit, most of the subjects I even introduce here is shit that I already talked about.
You know,
It don't mean that you didn't
What
argue
are
with
we
me about
talking
that.
about?
It don't mean that you didn't argue with me about lobbyists.
No, I argue with you about a specific subject. Lobbyists
No.
exist in so many different sectors of the government. Lobbyists exist in the automotive industry. It exists when it comes to schools. It exists when it comes to medicine. It exists when it comes to the pharmaceutical companies. It exists when it comes to a lot of different things. Different lobbyists do different things for different people. It exists when it comes to the lawyer industry. It exists when it comes to a lot of different things.
Anton.
Lobby is so many different types of lobbyists. You're not going to sit here and pin me and say lobbyists in general. It's a lot of different lobbyists. What the fuck? What are we talking about?
Anton. You wrong, bro.
No, you're limited in the way that you're having this conversation because you don't want to deep dive. And if we start the deep dive, it's going to get really bad for you.
We had plenty of.
I'm trying to save you in this conversation by
you can't save
letting you
anything.
rock.
You saving yourself.
I'm literally trying to save you.
Saving yourself.
Okay.
You saving yourself. Anton, you've been wrong about this since been wrong. Since
trying
been
to
wrong.
save you.
Since been wrong.
I'm trying to allow for you to get some breathers.
Argue all this stuff. I even went as far as saying that they shouldn't have saved some of those automotive companies on this platform before. I said they shouldn't have saved them. They should have let them go. They should have let them die.
They should have let the automotive companies die.
That's what I said.
Okay, Slimmy.
I said that. But you know, we ain't never discussed automotive.
We should let our industries die in the U.S. Got it.
No, I said companies. I said certain companies.
That's what the industry.
Certain ones.
Companies
certain ones
are
that
the industry.
when Barack Obama bailed out certain companies.
Yeah, let Chrysler and GM die. You're right. Let them die.
You're gonna get more companies, man. Let them rise from the ground up. But the problem is you've been trying to deny so much shit. And now you're contradicting yourself. You've denied half of this stuff that you're saying tonight. It's bad.
Okay. Super chat it is. Saturday Night Beater sent $5, says, plus I'm claustrophobic. Back on the streets before you know it. Nicholson 83 sent $2, said, when are we going to get a coaching call, AD? Tamara sent $10, said, ladies, respectfully, Patty just moved the grass isn't always greener. Patty just proved the grass isn't always greener. Please respect the Slimster. He gives great insight from a man's perspective. I learned.
Let me say this. Somebody says GM don't pay my bills. Jesus Christ. Do you know how many industries General Motors stand up? You know how many jobs is impacted, not just from the industry itself, but all of the residual jobs and businesses and automotive suppliers and infrastructure and people that benefit as a result of an American company continuing to manufacture and design cars here in the United States? Do you know how many cities would be dead and impacted, and how many people would basically lose everything? How many homes would be devalued if certain industries continue to get demolished and removed? You know why we depend so much on the financial industry? It's because we don't have the protections that allow for us to continue to make products here in the United States, while other countries like China is subsidizing BYD and Geely and these very companies that are coming in and taking over inside of these other countries. You know how many restaurants would die? You know how many vendors would die? You know how many contractors would go out of business? You know how many, man, General Motors alone probably impacts no less than 250,000 jobs in the US alone by themselves. Now multiply that by the other three main manufacturers that's American in the US. Canada would be dying and impacted by it. People have no clue what the fuck they talking about, bro. At all. You know how much money circulates as a result of an American company staying American and continuing to put people to work? People have no fucking clue what they talking about at all. Half the fucking country will probably look like Flint. Flint used to be one of the most prosperous cities in the United States of America. Ever.
It's the poorest now.
It was one of the most profitable cities in the country. It holds up infrastructure. Man, listen. Entire schools were built around the General Motors automotive industry. There's schools, mechanical engineering schools, that was based off of going into GM. People don't know what the fuck they talking about. Just shut the fuck up if y'all don't know. Just shut up, because this is
change the fact that
it's too much. It's too deep for some of y'all. Y'all don't even understand the economic impact. Why Trump had to renegotiate NAFTA. Why Biden kept the tariffs in place that Trump implemented in the first term. Why the steel industry is interdependent on the steel industry, the aluminum industry. All of these industries are interdependent on these automotive companies surviving. All of these people. You think Obama saved it just because it was a fun thing to do? He saved it because he didn't have no fucking choice. Fuck is y'all talking about? Niggas is just talking.
Don't change the fact that AD contradicted himself about the government.
Tammer sent $2 and said, typo, fatty. Love y'all. Darian Murphy sent $10, said, but Slimmy, Fauci was not in a judicial court case. That was a Senate hearing. He was pardoned. So the real issue is that legally he cannot plead the fifth because there is no chance of incrimination.
Well, I said that when I was actually speaking. So I don't know if you were paying attention.
Daddy in the caddy
said that.
Daddy in the caddy sent $5, said, I voted Trump 20 and 24. Fauci is a distraction. No one cares. Trump needs to focus on the meat and potatoes issues, inflation, taxes, and foreign affairs.
Some of these very companies, the infrastructure that they built in this country is what allowed for us to win some of our previous wars. Some of the very infrastructure is still set up just in case we ever have to go back to manufacturing things built for war. And that's one of the reasons why we have to save our steel industry, is because we don't want to be interdependent on another country just in case we have to go to war. It's deep. It is. We literally integrated with it to save ourselves. They're easily convertible over to other things to where we can manufacture anything that we need. We have to have infrastructure. If you don't have infrastructure, if you don't have industry, if you don't have any of these things, then you die. You die as a country. We turn into Mexico.
Chris on
Yes, yes. And some of the jobs that y'all do are directly impacted by the automotive industry. All of the tires that's sold in this bitch. All of the brakes that's sold in this bitch. All of the semiconductor chips. Majority of them are bought up by the automotive industry. All of these fucking industries are dependent on automotive. That's the backbone of this country. Have some fucking respect.
Chris on 21 sent $2, says civil lawsuits. Chris on 21 also sent another $2, said there's a special place in hell for him. Daddy and the Caddy sent $2, said no pardon immunity from civil suits from FDA and HHS. JM410 sent $4.99. Like Cosby, accuse him of aggravated indecent assault at a mass level. We all got bamboozled, all injected by an 80-year-old man. Professor Tiff B sent $25, says, my nephew was starting D1 basketball in Baton Rouge during a strict COVID advisory. He couldn't play without the vaccine. Though I opposed it, I got the J&J and drove him to school. The government wasn't my motivator. He was. Outworld News sent $10, said Fauci just did what was in the plan. The U.S. pandemic plan in 2005 that was passed, but everyone was focused on Iraq. It outlined everything. HHS scrubbed it. I downloaded all 396 pages. Y'all want it? And Wetnut sent $9.99, said, I miss when conspiracy theorists were autistic, maybe, artists who were obsessed with the topic, or intellectuals who lost a lot from denying the status quo. But now it's people who have very little intellectual integrity. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for those super chats. That's all we have for y'all tonight. Y'all have anything else to say before we go? AD?
Right now.
Anton still contradicted himself about the government.
I'm on a generational run right now.
Oh, you took an L tonight, buddy.
I can't be fucking stopped.
You took a major L tonight. You
I can't be
contradicted
fucking
yourself
stopped.
in the
As a matter of
worst
fact,
way
I'm
I've
so
ever
happy
seen
because
possible.
I brought my red key in honor of America. America's 250th birthday. In honor of America, I brought the red key out, the Hellcat today, and I put up everything else because I love this country.
Anton still contradicted himself about the government. Nigga, we've been up here arguing about this shit for so long. You just took a major L.
Yeah,
a major L.
Me always gonna say that, even though you're wrong.
I can't be wrong. You just proved me right. You literally just were saying things that I said verbatim that you were arguing with me about. So that's bad.
Taking
I don't
all,
even know how you.
I'm winning.